Dun, 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 dun. We're live. Hello, my fellow peoples. Hello, my fellow peoples of the world. How are you doing, and beings and stuff?
Oh,
you not see it?
Yay, hello.
Yeah, it probably just takes a while to show up. Here, let me open up the virtual display room so I can monitor what's going on. Okay, connecting to stream, waiting to go live.
Pop out.
Wait, what the hell is this about? Why does it tell me I can't do that?
360, because I don't need to really see. Actually, I'll just pause it. I don't need to see the live stream.
Oh, there we go. I just monetized the stream because they're like, you can't monetize the stream. I'm like, watch me. I'll do
the
it.
hell I can't.
Don't tell you. Don't tell me. It's like that's how I pay taxes.
Right.
All right, there we go. Oh wow, top
What
chat
up?
change. What
Hello,
is this? Plus
hello.
goal. Make a super chat goal. What the hell is this? This is new.
What? Oh.
This wasn't here before. Like at the top of chat, there's like the start a goal. It's more fun to stream with a goal.
Oh.
All right.
Cool.
Well, cool. I'll put a. Okay, let's see your pick.
It is.
Goal.
It is more
10,
fun to stream with a goal though.
Matthew Riley became a Tech Talk channel member. Matthew Riley celebrates 20 months.
Hey, thanks for being a member, Matthew Riley.
Hand,
20 months.
Vulcan
That's
salute.
great.
Waving hand. Vulcan salute.
Like
Waving hand.
2 years.
Vulcan salute.
Okay, it says share how you'll celebrate if you hit the goal. I said AuxxZillary and I are going to make out live on stream. Just kidding, but we will. Thank you. That's our goal. Okay, let me click start goal. There we go. I've officially started a goal. Look at me go. Okay, your goal is now live. Share with your audience. This is new. I've never seen this before. This is weird. All right, so I got to share out the stream. Everybody, please go share out the stream on
What
X,
up?
Facebook,
What up? Come on,
TikTok,
let's go.
Ashley
Get on the
Madison.
What? We just started.
Blue
We
What's up,
just
Blue Bar?
started. He says, "Come on, let's go get on the
Blue
topics."
celebrates 21 months
Hell
of
yeah,
membership.
brother.
Come
Well,
on.
here, let's wait. Let's give
go
a
get on
couple
the
minutes.
Yeah,
topics.
man, we gotta wait a little. We always
gotta let a
gotta
couple
chew the fat a
people
little
come
bit
in
and
here.
stuff.
Come on, bro. We gotta warm up, stretch our legs a little. Don't worry, we'll get to the topics in the last 5 minutes of the show. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll get to them early. We'll start with the Palworld too. We'll do them in order.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna share out the stream. TikTok is now live, and I'm not even gonna bother putting in
What
the
are you
title.
both going to come up with today? Oh man, you guys.
Oh,
you
guys
don't even know. You
Don't
don't even know.
bro. Don't even know what's coming. This is gonna be crazy.
I'm gonna turn this light on, and
It's
that's
gonna
gonna
be
look really bad for
absolute.
a second. Hold on.
It's okay.
This fucking thing. I need to get a different one of these. It's like super sensitive.
Why do you got to be using poor people equipment like that? That microphone. Look at
'Cause
that
I
cheap
am
ass
poor
microphone
people.
you're using. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just a charity case.
You and I, all the nice things we own came from Adam. I swear to God,
man.
it's true. Like
Just about.
everything
Just
in
about.
this
All the cool
room
shit.
came from him. The camera, Adam. Microphone,
Camera's not.
Adam. I did get the mixer board as a sponsor thing, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Headphones, I did. These I bought. So the one thing you can
Yeah.
see on camera right now, I actually bought. So
Like, I bought my mixer, my AuxxZillary Mini. I bought that.
ooh,
The headphones are mine. The
nice.
camera.
Nice, bruv. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna tweet this out, or not tweet. I gotta stop calling it tweet. What is it called? A blue sky? A post? What do you call it on blue sky?
I don't know. Just post. Yeah, we're gonna post it on Blue
I'm gonna
Sky.
sky it.
No,
I'm gonna
I'm gonna-
sky that shit, brah.
What
Sky
is it? Like skywriting, right? When you do the
Ooh,
airplanes.
skywriting. That's a good one, actually. Hey, what's up, Exuded?
Wait for
Gentle
PE to
Stone,
pull
Bear
over.
Williams, Yorkshire Techie, Steve Miller. What is
That's
up, brother? John Zuck.
It's gonna be
Pele.
cray today. Maybe. I'm
Oh,
I'm
no,
kind of
okay.
but
So just to let you guys know, Tech Talk is sometimes when AuxxZillary leaves at the end, I get a little cray. That is unavoidable. But when he's on, I usually try to avoid getting too cray. That's what I do on
Yeah.
Twitch.
yeah.
So if you're
Same.
here to see me
Same.
go on like some crazy 5-hour political rant or whatever, that's Twitch. That's gonna be over on my
Yeah.
Twitch stream. You're not
Yeah.
gonna see that here. So
yeah.
not to say we
because,
won't talk about certain things, but it's gonna be more focused on the topics now they pertain to like tech and stuff like that. Not like getting into the minutia of everything.
Hi from
So,
Philippines. What's up, man? Where are you at in the Philippines? I might be visiting in the spring next year. Actually,
isn't it
I'm
like
pretty
super
sure.
late there? Wouldn't it be super late there? It's the other side of the world?
They're in the future. Yeah, they're in the future. Right,
We need to
eight-ish
know your
hours
time.
ahead. So
Tell us your time. We need to know. It's important for things and
it's
stuff.
Sunday morning. Sunday, like maybe real early Sunday morning.
They's in the future, brav.
Makati.
They's
Let
in
me
the
see where that's
future.
at. Because I don't know exactly where I'm going to be. Makati. Yeah, Makati. Philippines. Oh, looks cool.
The Philippines are pretty cool. Don't they get like a shit ton of rain though? Doesn't it like torrential rain there? Or am I thinking of something else?
I mean, they get like there's monsoon season. Yeah, 3:38 a.m. Sunday.
Because I've watched some videos of there's a dude, what's his name, CB Media or something. Does that ring a bell? He does like car event reviews in like the Philippines
Cebu,
and stuff.
right?
And
Cebu.
I don't know what does CB stand for. I think it's his name actually. It might be his name.
Oh, okay. Because like there's a city of the city of Cebu. I think it's a CEBU.
That could, maybe that's what it is then. Because I know
that might be like where he's at.
He shows like racing of those, those boats, those river boats they have that they put giant like diesel turbo engines on, like 100+ mile an hour or whatever. He does videos on those, and they race everything in the Philippines. Here we like race cars and like motorcycles. Over there they race like tractors, these like 2-wheel like things that they use for like harvesting rice paddies. They soup up these giant like vans or whatever, and like these tractor vehicles, dude. And the titanium the titanium stuff they do in the Philippines is insane. Apparently they're like one of the world's like best fabricators because it's like cheap there. Apparently titanium's really cheap there. Like it's actually cheap like aluminum there versus here. I don't know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Philippines guy. But like the work that they do on all the piping on the engines and stuff on all the cars at the meets, it's all titanium that's been colored.
Oh, Cebu's an island. My bad. I'm showing my ignorance.
Oh, it's an island.
Like I recognize somewhere. Yeah, there is a Cebu city though. Yeah, I just seen it on the map. I just look at it. I see it on the map. But I imagine it's also. That's probably the name of the little island. There's like a million islands that are in the Philippines.
Yeah, the Philippines is
seriously,
quite the chain, right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of little ones. My buddy Nat, he's from he's like half Filipino, and he's telling me, dude, there's little islands out there where they've got little villages and shit that nobody like. They just do their thing. There's just people out there that they don't ever leave their little island. And there's millions of tiny little islands out there. Yeah,
dude, I think it'd be cool to go to the Philippines. That would be a sweet
I want to check it out.
So where are you going in the Philippines?
I don't really know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
Yeah, I recognize some of the places that he has talked about, but I don't know. Like he's got family and stuff out there, so I'm not really sure.
What are some of the capital cities?
Manila is the capital. I think it's like, I don't know if it's like the capital, but it's like their biggest city is Manila. There's, again, I don't know if these are cities or like islands or little places, but I've heard of like Boracay is like a killer beach or like beach town.
Yeah.
Mindanao, I don't know. I know the name. I'm not sure what that's about. Cebu, like I've heard of Cebu.
Shit, you know more than I do.
Mindanao. Boracay is like the most gorgeous white sandy beach. It's like it's super popular though. Like everybody knows about Boracay.
Yep.
There's like another spot that's kind of close to actual Boracay and that's like he's like that's where like the people who know what they're doing go. Boracay is like the tourist beach or beachy place.
Hey, is it Eku or Isu? The ECU guy. How do you pronounce your name, bro?
It's the southmost island. Okay.
So I'm looking here. So Manila is the current capital city, which has been the capital for most of the country's history. Then sense. There's Bacolor, Pampanga, Malolos, Bulacan. I know I'm butchering these. And Cebu is the first Spanish settlement in the Philippines, but not a capital city. But they still listed it.
Yeah.
Interesting. For some reason, I thought that there was like more like well-known cities, like mainstream well-known cities there. I might be getting it mixed up with like Thailand and stuff like that.
Yeah,
probably. There's a lot of like like where's Bangkok is in.
Bangkok's Thailand.
That's Thailand. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to visit Thailand.
Same.
Not just for the lady boys, but for like the others.
No, man, because I want to see Bangkok. I want to see Bangkok.
Yeah, dude. Bangkok looks awesome.
I want to see Hong Kong. And then like go out into the jungles of Thailand and stuff too.
Dude, Bangkok looks like straight up futuristic. Like, dude, I watched the video of like people driving through it, and I'm like, dude, like what the hell? Like we are behind here in the United States. Our cities do not look anything like that. Like South Korea, have you seen like the cap? What is it? Is it Seoul? The big city.
Seoul is the capital. Yeah.
So you drive through and it's just like, dude, it's like you're on another planet. Yeah. Like so much neon, so much technology and stuff. It almost makes you feel like we're behind here. Like the phones we are
like, way behind, dude. It's constant. Just look at like Japan. Before texting was big here, in the United States.
Huge,
that was all they were doing.
Yep.
Texting was like the main thing, like 10 years before, or QR codes.
QR codes. They've been paying for like 15 years. They've been paying
15
with
years behind on QR codes, the tap to pay,
we're just now doing that shit. And they've had it for like 15, 20 years. It's wild.
It's bonkers. It's
and
bonkers.
Not even iPhones. Like I remember my buddy. Hey, cool story. When I worked at Microsoft, I worked with a guy. His name was David Wu. And he had this really cool flip phone that I'd never seen before. And he got it when he went home because he's from there. He's from South Korea.
Yeah.
And he had this flip phone that had this ginormous camera on it. It looked like a freaking like video camera, like a camcorder.
Yeah.
And it was like some crazy megapixels. And keep in mind, this would have been back in like 2005, 2006, somewhere in that era. And it was like the specs on it were insane. Crazy amounts of memory, CPU, this crazy video cord, super high megapixel camera. Dude, it was wicked. But he's like, oh yeah, dude. He's like, we have like super high speed internet there that you guys don't even have yet. Like I'm sure we've caught it now on the internet or whatever, but back then it's like it was common to just walk around on high speed internet everywhere.
We barely put internet outside of major metropolitan areas. Come on.
No, but I mean where it is fast, it can be fast. Like there they had shit that was fast when we didn't even have that spec deployed.
Oh
right?
yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
So his phone like supported like cellular and Wi-Fi specs we didn't even have in the United States for like 5 years. So I was like, dude, how much was that phone or whatever? And he's like, oh dude, you won't even believe it's like half the price.
Yeah.
Of a phone here in the United States at the time, and I was like, "Dude, can you get me one?"
That's so cool. I remember when, like just as iPhone, smartphone stuff were really kind of, it was like right at that kind of transition, where like a lot of people were rocking Palm Trios and stuff, or like the Sidekick and whatnot, right? Which man, I kind of wish they would make a redo of the Sidekick, like run Android with the flip out. And a full keyboard.
That was pretty cool.
Touch screen and shit. That'd be so badass. I could play games. You know, you got a little control. You spin the thing out, and you got.
What was the Ericsson phone that had like the switchblade, like that would flip out and be a T? It was the phone was like a T.
Oh,
like
I think that was LG. I think LG did that one.
Had that? Yeah. Dude, I always thought that was super cool. Like, you just hit a button and it would like whip out. Yeah. Yep. It's that phone. I was like, dude, there were so many cool phone ideas back then, and now we're all just walking around with a brick with a screen on it.
I'm still. I miss
physical keyboards. I miss physical keyboards so much.
Same. Yep. I miss like a lot. Where I had it was one of the early Galaxies. I think it was the first Samsung Galaxy phone, where like you could slide the screen. It was very similar to the G1, the T-Mobile, or
I remember that,
right? Where without the chin and the little roller ball, but you turn it sideways and slide the thing up, and then there was the keyboard. I loved that.
My favorite phone, like of all time that I own, not technology comparing, because obviously it's obsolete today. Yeah, but my favorite phone was the Hitachi HC1000. Oh, if you guys want to look it up, it's the Hitachi.
That sounds like a vibrator.
HC. No, it totally does, dude.
Sorry,
the magic wand.
Yeah.
Hitachi,
what now?
It was the Hitachi. I thought it was the HC1000. Here, let me see. Hitachi HC1000. Let me see if that's
yeah.
Let's see your phone.
Actually, that's weird. I put in HC1000. I found a temperature controller.
Let me just do 1000. Oh, I found it here. It's the G1000. My bad.
Oh, okay.
The G1000. So this phone was insanely expensive back in the day, and it's huge, dude. It's bigger than the iPhone Pro today.
I rocked a Palm Trio like 250 or something like that for a long time. I loved it.
So this phone right here, I had this phone because this is like back when Windows Mobile was king. This is before iPhone.
Dude, this is even before Windows Mobile. This is some kind of like
this was Windows Mobile 6. Windows Mobile 6. That's why I had it.
Get out!
I shit you not.
Like look at the it looks like XP. It looks like Windows XP like embed.
It was skinned. It was skinned. It's basically Win CE. It's Windows CE. Like Windows Mobile is just Windows CE with shit built on top of it.
Okay.
So the thing I loved about this phone though is it had the camera. Instead of having a camera on the front and the back, you flipped the camera around. You rotated it, and you could also rotate it straight out, so you could hold it like a tricorder and like record in front of you. It was really cool. The screen was massive, and it was a touch screen, and it had a stylus, and it had a full keyboard at the bottom. And keep in mind, this thing is massive, guys.
AQ
like
tipped $1.70.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Boo, 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 boo.
Oh, hey, right on. Those are Filipino pesos,
dude. That is so Filipino pesos, cool, man.
Thank you for for the 50 cents.
You rock.
I'm just kidding. I'm messing around.
You rock, bro. Hey, $1.70 is
I appreciate
$1.70.
it. Thank you so much.
$20.
Yeah. No, it's more picking on the exchange rate is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like 527 million pesos, 30 cents.
Yeah, last I remember, it was like 55 to 1 or something. Which I mean, that's pretty common. You go to a lot of third world countries, it's a lot like that. So
yep. So if you look up this HC1000 like in somebody's hands, you'll get an idea of how big it is. But it's massive. Like I literally had to wear pants. I had to buy my pants based on if the phone fit in the pocket. That's how big it was. It was so massive.
Oh man.
It had an amazing battery life, a gorgeous screen for the time. Not compared to today, you'd look at it and laugh, right? But it ran like Windows. It could run all of any Windows mobile app, no matter how much power it required. This thing just like dominated. This was the device. And the other funny story with it is when I finally did upgrade to an iPhone, because I had this all the way up until I got an iPhone. And so when I got the first iPhone, I sold this thing on eBay to a guy who said he didn't receive it. He lied to eBay and said it was lost in the mail. So even though it was mailed, signature required, and he signed for it, he's like, "Oh, I never received it." And then I called and reported it stolen to AT&T. AT&T calls me and says that he activated it, and they actually had in-store footage of the dude. And so I got the police to meet him at the store. I said, "Stall him." At the store, and they stalled him. Well, the police showed up and confiscated the phone and mailed it back to me. So I got the phone back in the end and got him removed off of eBay. But I was like, man, that's why I don't sell things on eBay anymore. Like there are some shady ass people in there just do shady stuff, man.
I don't know if I ever showed you, but I had one guy send me back a motherboard that I sold him. Like this is like a high end like Threadripper board, right? And I still have the pictures, I can send them to you or show you, but I don't fuck around when I pack my stuff. Okay, you get anti-static bag. If I've got the retail box, you'll get the retail box. Otherwise, it goes into like it's just a white box that's vaguely motherboard shaped. But I had the actual box or the insert that's supposed to go into the retail box because that's really what holds the board. I had that. I put board is in this anti-static. Goes into the same sleeve, like the insert that would have come in the retail box, because it's like you have the outer retail box and then there's like this thing.
You built a million computers and work at like a giant computer.
I pack my shit up great. Okay,
you know how to package
I pack my shit up great. And then so this insert thing then also goes into a box, right?
Yep.
And taped up. Blah 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 blah. I send it back. He says something's not working, whatever. Because like I can't fully test some of these high end boards. I don't got Threadripper processors.
Fair shit happens. Like it could have got damaged, right?
I say like, look, I know that this posts because I do know that it'll at least post. I know that from where I get these from, but I can't test any further, right? I say that. I send the thing back. He says something, whatever. He sends it back, requesting a refund. But dude, he put this thing just in the box, just in a box, like wrapped in the prepaid boxes. Like he took like 2 or 3 USPS medium prepaid boxes and like just kind of like folded it around the board and then put that into another like regular box and sent it back. And like that box, the outer box, got kind of beat up, and I'm like, fuck. I know that this thing is jacked. And then I just open, and I'm like, I'm taking pictures. As soon as I saw the outer box, I'm taking pictures of every step of this.
Was it the real motherboard, or did he do a bait?
It was actually my bag.
All right,
he requested a refund, but I'm like, no, I'm not giving this guy a refund. Like I'm arguing with eBay about it, and I'm like, no, this guy, look at what he did. He sent this stuff back. Well, blah blah blah. You say something about how I had set my return policy.
Oh, are we back? Hello. Can you guys see me? Oh, here. Hello, can you guys see me?
There we go. I'm back.
Test.
I see you. Hello?
Dude, you want to know what happened?
Uh-huh.
So you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys in chat see us again? Like, let us know in chat. They're probably delayed, so they're probably not going to see it go out here for a minute. So we'll ignore them for a little while. What had happened was I forgot I paused my VPN earlier to download some stuff from my neighbor's NAS. and the VPN was paused for 60 minutes, and so it just turned on the VPN, got me a new IP address, and then disconnected as reconnected.
Oh, that's funny.
So I was like, God damn it, I forgot I paused it. I thought I just straight up turned it off and turned it back on, but I forgot.
I was gonna be generous enough to give him like a partial refund back, right? And I think I paid for the shipping label or something like that. But I'm going a little back and forth with eBay. Like I got him on the phone about this. I'm like, this is outrageous. I'm not going to refund this guy, like at all, because this thing is jacked. And now I can't. It's so fucked that there's no even point in me trying to test this part because there's bad shipping. No way. And eventually, like it just sat. I didn't refund him. It sat and sat and sat, and eventually, it just went away. I didn't ever actually end up refunding the guy, like, which was awesome.
I'm shocked it turned out that way because eBay almost always sides with the buyer. Always, like no matter what they do wrong, they don't care.
Almost always, yeah. And
that's why I don't sell there anymore.
Thankfully, I haven't had any big issues other than that. One guy did just return a board again. He said, "I just didn't like it. I don't know. I just didn't like it. Nothing wrong with it. None of that. Just I didn't like it." I'm like, whatever, man.
Like,
fine.
What are you, Amazon?
He's gotta pay.
Now,
you got to pay shipping back.
Hey, the Wolf's Den, thank you for the $2, bro.
That is a massive part. What?
I have it set now that it's like 30 days because like they were telling me like in order to it's either if the way that I had it set was no refunds at all, and so if I accepted a return, it would be a full refund regardless. And I was like, well, I want to be able to give partial refunds. So, well, if you do that, then you have to set like a 30-day return policy on your listing.
I didn't know they supported partial refunds. That must be new after my time.
Yeah, and I've done that on other things where like, a guy buy a bunch of fans from me or something, right? That I pull these fans out of the trash, like CPU fans and stuff. We bought 4 fans from me, and somehow one of them just didn't work. I'm saying, hey man, it's like a $25 fan. I'm not going to hassle you about it. Here's your $25 back. I'm like, fuck it. It's fine.
I mean, as long as you get the product back and it's still a good working shape and in the same shape you sent it, then I wouldn't be too worried about it. But like, I would if they sent it back all shitty and busted up.
No, and I'm not gonna I don't care. The fans.
Have you ever had somebody bait and switch you yet?
Maybe because I don't think so though.
That did happen to me when I sold on because I used to sell a ton of shit on eBay back in the day.
Yeah.
So I remember I sold it was it was memory modules. That's what it was. I sold 2 memory modules from MacBook, right? A MacBook Pro that I had, my old ones. I sold my old memory modules because I upgraded. And I sent the memory modules. The guy challenged it and said, "Oh, I installed the memory modules and they don't work. I get a beep error code or whatever. They don't work." So I was like, "Okay, I'll accept. The refund. Send it back." And the dude sent them back, and I had pictures in the listing, like actual pictures in the listing that had the serial numbers of the chips on the label, and the chips that he sent back were a different serial number. I pulled them right out of the box, compared on the picture, and they were a different serial number. I said, bro, the things you sent me were the wrong ones. You know what he said?
What?
He said, bro, sorry, I must have accident. My bad. I think I sent you the wrong ones. I'm like, why would you have 2 sets? Your book, it only takes 2 memory modules. Why would you have 2 sets of the same memory modules and then happen to send me the broken set?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I caught him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. Oh yeah, here, I'll send back the other ones. It's fine." Didn't even ask for the other ones back because they were broken. He knew they were broken.
I have these about the intern pack of these. They're like invisible ink pens. They're like UV felt pen.
Like where it's invisible and you shine UV and then you see
it. you can scribble on stuff and you can't see it, and then you hit the button on the light and because it's really hard sometimes to see the serial numbers on motherboards like physically on the board. Sometimes they're not, or they're printed in weird places that you can't really find. So I've thought about like I'll just write somewhere underneath, like on the back side, like on the metal where the CPU socket is, right? And just put a big A or something on there, or AZ or whatever. And then if you send me the wrong one and I don't see my mark, then you didn't send me the right thing.
Dude, that's such a good idea. I didn't even think about that. Like it's like a hidden watermark that they're not going to know is there. And if they don't know where it is, they're not going to know where to wipe it off.
Yep.
Unless they have a UV light and they're like checking everything and everything. But I doubt any of their operations
doing that?
That.
Who's doing that?
Nobody is.
Yeah. So little things like that, or like I don't know. I've thought about like little stickers or something somewhere, but I think that'd be the way to go.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we got a lot of people in here. Want to start talking about
All
the
right.
Palworld thing?
Yeah.
You guys want to know what it's like to jump into topics for the first time ever in Tech Talk within like the first half an hour?
Right. So I'm sure a lot of the nerds know about Palworld or Pocket Pair, the company who's made Palworld.
Does anybody in chat not know what Palworld is? I know it's like a sensation, but there's always like some people. If you don't know what Palworld is, it's basically like a Pokemon-ish style
Pokemon
game.
with guns.
Yeah, Pokemon with guns.
Yep. And really, that's even actually super reductionist. It's really more of a
no, you'll get
like
yelled at.
it's more of like a survival game. It's more like Rust with Pokemon in it.
Yep,
is a better way of putting it. Because like you build up your base and things like that, and you catch monsters.
Now that I think about it, it's very Rust-ish.
It's more like Rust.
Yep, I agree.
With monster catching in it, and there's guns. So Palworld came out. What was it? January, I think, of this year. Yeah, officially released. They've been working on this for years. Like this has been it started off as like kind of a halfway joke, just Pokemon with guns, and Palworld or Pocket Pair made this game, Palworld. It's actually really fun, really good game. It looks great. It's really fun.
I honestly stopped playing it, and I don't know why. Like, I think I just kind of lost track and didn't go back to it, but it was really fun. Like, when I played it, I really enjoyed it. It's
hard for me to keep up with survival games like that. Like, I've played Valheim for a bit and some of these other ones, and it's just hard. It's hard. 7 Days to Die, things like that. It's just hard to keep up with them.
That's fair.
So they're getting sued by Pocket Pair, or Pocket Pair is getting sued by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. And originally people thought, oh man, they and look, there's no arguing it. They straight up copied a lot of the Pokemon designs for their pals. They call them the creatures in the game. There's no arguing that. However, that's not what Nintendo is suing Pocket Pair for. Pocket Pair is getting sued for patent infringement on game mechanics.
That's
and
so stupid,
and that's the broader topic that I kind of wanted to touch on after or as a part of this. So I'll post the target patents, and I think these are the United States patents. So it's patent number, blah, 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 patent number, blah, blah, blah. I'll paste these into the chat. And as always, I encourage you to investigate further as an exercise to the class. So those are the patent numbers. And it comes down to things like how they catch the monsters, how the monsters like change. It's like the combat system, the catching system, and something about like movement in the game. Weird things to me. One, the US patents at least were applied for and registered months after the game came out. Like it says patent application date July 30th, 2024. The game came out January 19th. So I don't understand how any of that's actually supposed to work. But I don't understand patent law in a general sense, other than like, you get to protect your ideas and stuff like that. Sure. I wonder if Nintendo is going to win. I want Palworld to stay there. So that's part of it, right? They're not going to shut the game down. They're looking just for damages, recovery of damages, apparently. They're not... how about we ban patenting game mechanics? I'm okay with that. I think that's the way it should be. Because like, could you imagine, I was telling to Jerry about this just before the stream. Could you imagine id Software patenting first person shooters?
Yeah, imagine that, right? No more COD, no more Battlefield, nothing. Like,
could you imagine?
Yeah.
Or and this is to me an egregious one. Warner Brothers owns a patent for the Nemesis system that they used in the Shadow of Mordor games, which means nobody can use a similar sort of like, oh, you kill this bad guy and like he's gonna come back, or like these other bad guys like get upgraded and things like that.
Yep.
Or driving in a third person game, or like how many mechanics?
The stupid patent iPhone or Apple tried to do is like the square device with a glass screen or whatever. And it's like, dude, that's every phone. You described every phone. It already exists.
It's like patenting the mousetrap. It's like a perfect design, or it's like it's the most.
Where does it end?
Design.
I'm gonna patent anything you can see with the human eye. That's what I'm gonna patent.
It's so weird.
Pay me.
I think if this is, I don't know where this is being litigated. If this is in Japan, I could see Nintendo winning. If this is in the United States, these patents are way too broad. They don't make sense. I mean, they're registered and stuff, but the summary of the claim is an injunction against Palworld. So I guess they would stop selling it. They would be forced to stop selling it. If there's an injunction, I think they would have to stop selling it. Plus 5 million yen plus late payment damages. So what's 5 million yen?
If I saw like a video, a lot. I know yen isn't like super crazy.
I saw a video. It comes out to like $67,000. Something like that. Like, bro, they've made way more than astronomical amount of money. Way more than it's like 60. We'll round up and be generous. 100 grand, 100,000 USD. Like, get the fuck out. Okay, so what? And then what? Like, they're gonna shut the game down or what? And then it just seems really weird to me. And I want to look a little bit more into this. And an explanation more of the. So here's the. Hold on, I want to see what one of these patents is. I want to scrub through this here. So, okay, so one of the patent. Oh, this is a Japanese patent. I think it says JP on it, so I imagine that's Japanese. Okay, so here's the. I want to scrub through this real fast. This is what did I look for? This was 7. Hold on. 7528390 is the one I looked up, just random, pasted it into Google.
Okay.
And so I do think, just from looking at this document, it does look like this is a Japanese patent. Interesting. So
you said both companies are based in Japan. I know that Nintendo and Pokemon have a presence here in the United States, but they're in Japan. Palworld is, right?
Yeah, Pocket Pair and is based in Japan as well. So they have a patent. Oh, this one is for the vehicle sort of system. Prior art includes games in which a player character can ride an object and move through a virtual space. For example, for example, non-patent document 1, ride around the field with Pokemon rides. So this is talking about how in one of the most recent Pokemon games you get a Pokemon that's like a motorcycle, right?
How in previous patent something like that? That is so stupid. Oh my god.
In previous games like this, there was room for improvement in switching between objects to ride. So that's part of it, right? Is like the motorcycle will turn into like a boat, will turn into an airplane kind of a thing, depending on that kind of stuff. So they're saying like, oh, we patented the game program of the present invention causes a computer of an information processing device to control a player character in a virtual space based on an operation input. And when and this is the important part, and when boarding an object that the player character can board is selected from among objects owned by the player character, and a boarding instruction is given, causes the player character to board the boarding object.
I've already lost track. Mobile. I've already completely lost track.
I love these. Yeah. So basically, they're saying their patent is if your player character can ride a thing that you select from objects owned by the player. So like you pull something out of your inventory, and then as a boarding instruction is given, so you press X to ride your thing, causes the player character to board, to hop on the boarding object. So whatever it is you pulled out of your character's bag and become mobile. Man. And then it talks about how like you can switch from it being one type of thing to when a first operation input is given while the player character is in the air, the game program causes the player character to board an aerial boarding object. So like you're switching from, oh, holy cow, €50.
Right? Oh my god, bro. Hell yeah, brother.
So basically, this would then, if Pokemon Company wants to really push on this, then wouldn't Breath of the Wild be in violation of this patent, right? Because like you pull objects out of your player character inventory and you build a device to ride around on. But they're just not
defending against Nintendo because they're in league together, right? Because Nintendo and Pokemon work together, so obviously they're not going to sue them for infringing on their patent.
Yeah, I think it's because like Zelda is a first party thing, right? Nintendo makes Zelda. They don't hire out for that. Man, it's just so weird, man. So it's the vehicle thing. It's and then I think the other patents are for like the monster catching.
I want to say that there's some rule though that says that you do have to like defend your patents, because if somebody proves you don't defend your patents or whatever, then they can walk on them in court. So I wonder if it's, well, actually Nintendo's litigious as fuck. Nobody
Oh, dude,
thinks
this
for a
is freaking
second.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 191 focused on the act of throwing a ball at characters in a field. 117 tied to aiming. So
throwing balls at a character in a field is patented.
I think there might be a little more specificity there, where like to catch it and things like that. But and then 117 tied to aiming. 390 is riding the characters. And dude, it's really weird to me.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like I mean, Japan's patent office must be like a lot different than ours here.
Oh yeah,
because I know here they do a lot more research and they're like, oh, that's too generic. You need to elaborate.
Right? And I think that's
like they don't let you do simple patents anymore.
This is ridiculous. This is way too. It's way too broad. Because like the third person aiming, really, like the way the aiming system works, that's like every third person shooter.
It is. It's
weird.
Yeah, this just seems like patent trolling.
I can't imagine. Well, and what's weird to me is that these patent numbers were applied for and registered months after the game came out. So like that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how you can patent something and say it's your idea after something else already. Like if you were going to patent this, then you should have done it when Legends of Arceus came out, right? Like that's to me that I could be wrong here, but I think that's the first actual implementation of this technology these ideas that they're trying to defend was in Legends of Arceus, and then Scarlet and Violet came out after.
I know Scarlet and Violet have been out forever.
Those I think are the most recent ones. When did it come out?
I thought Scarlet and Violet dated all the way back to like the Game Boy.
That's Red and Blue.
Oh, that's Red and Blue. Okay,
to be pedantic in a sense, but because hey, this is.
Can you tell I don't play Pokemon?
Pokemon's naming conventions, not me. So
I better be careful.
Arceus,
I might get stabbed.
Arceus came out January 28th, 2022, and then Scarlet and Violet came out later that year, November 18, 2022. So both of these those sets of games came out before Palworld, obviously, because Palworld come out in January of this year. But
so how much money do they want here? Like, what are they seeking?
Like it comes out to like 66K. They want 5 million yen payment of 5 million yen plus late payment damages to Pokemon Company and 5 million yen plus late payment damages to Nintendo Co.
Of Northern PA
which total comes to about $67,000 plus an injunction against Palworld, which means I think they would have to stop selling it.
Interesting. Oh, if they had to stop selling it, that would be the bigger deal than the $60,000.
Yeah.
Started RTFM show.
Oh, hey, we got 2 more super chatters here. Car Wash Channel, what's up, bro?
Podcast. Jay's RTFM.
So Car Wash Channel just did $5.
TikTok.
Same thing with the Tech Chef 420 said, since Jay restarted RTFM show, I now get the perfect trio of weekend podcasts. Jay's RTFM show, LTO1 show, and Tech Talk. Awesome, man.
Nice.
I'm glad you got a good lineup that you enjoy. And again, Ivan, thank you again so much for the $54, dude. You're absolutely a legend, bro.
Oh yeah, seriously.
And he's 3D printing some joke adult toys personalized with a friend's head.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
I should do that for Christmas for Miss Barnacules. Take my little 3D modeled head I have or whatever and put it on the end of something fun. Put it in a box, throw it under the tree. Yeah. And then listen to all the questions Xander asks when she opens it embarrassingly and like, what the hell? Throws it back in the box really quick. Be like, don't worry about it, kid. Like, don't worry about it.
Look, patents are. I don't blanket statement. Patents are stupid. I do think it's important to be able to like, protect original
IP.
ideas.
Yeah, sure.
And, well, now intellectual property I think is separate. So there's a difference between copyrights and patents, right? Patents are supposed to be for like inventions, right? Original, creative, like designs. But there's a point where it becomes too broad.
There's patents that protect unique work, and there's patents that prevent progress.
Yeah.
Patents that prevent progress are the ones like this, where it's like, okay, I'm going to patent a blue pixel next to a red pixel. It's right. Dude, or again, the Nemesis anybody system could come across accidentally.
This Nemesis system is so broadly described that like nobody can actually do anything like it. And Warner Brothers isn't doing anything with it because fucking Warner Brothers sucks. at video games. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Shadow of War or the Mordor stuff was actually pretty cool. But yeah, man, it's just weird. It's too broad. And that's when things get weird. Like, oh, I'm gonna patent the combination of peanut butter and strawberry jelly. You know, like you can't just do
the
that.
Car Wash
It's
channel of Northern
really
PA
weird.
in Ohio tipped
And
$4.
I think that this is just overall damaging.
Just wanted to show you some love. I appreciate you.
In because like if Nintendo's going to be like this, then who's going to make other games that are at all similar? Like,
Yeah.
or
Everybody's going to be afraid of
it's
being
just-
sued.
yeah, I think they're too broad. They're too generic. It's just too generic of a description.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about the United States legal system is that some states have slap protection to like prevent people from just frivolous lawsuits like draining you. But it is something that happens a lot still. Like if you're in a state that doesn't have that protection, or if you're a corporation, for instance, instead of a private party, like if you're Microsoft, for instance, you can just sue somebody over Apple, same way, right? Just sue somebody over and over again, knowing you're wrong, knowing you're in the wrong, knowing that they're going to win, even knowing that every single time they're going to win and the case is going to get dismissed. Every time you do that, you whittle down some of their money and you whittle down some of their resources, which then prevent them being able to make progress. And then as long as you can do it enough that they can no longer sustain themselves, they have to sell or give up or compromise. And it's like, that's not fair because it's like, oh, we won 300 cases against this company, yet we still lost in the end. How is that possible? And it's because of all the legal expenses involved.
Yeah.
Right? Because if somebody sues you, it's not like you can just go represent yourself. You can't go to court and be like, okay, against Nintendo of America versus Palworld, written by 3 guys in their garage or whatever. Hey, we're going to represent ourselves because we don't have $10 million for a lawyer like Nintendo does with their 23 attorneys over there.
Yep.
And it's not fair. It's like, it's literally abuse. There's a lot of people that
abuse
law.
There's
a lot of people that do lawfare.
I don't understand. So again, Nintendo's probably one of the worst about this.
Hugely.
Nintendo has
bigly.
Yes, huge. Okay.
Yeah, huge and bigly
they've had like YouTube channels and shit taken down. And to me, that I think that's whack because in the United States, like, okay, it's one thing to say,
Lego took me down for like 3 months. My YouTube channel early, and they took me down for 3 months, and I couldn't do anything about it. I was at their mercy until their lawyers admitted they were wrong and came back to me and gave me my channel back, even though I was in the right. I was completely in the right.
That's it. That like Nintendo will come in and say, "Oh no, you can't show video of you playing Pokemon. That's against the rules, against the law." Except it is okay in the United States to do that. Like this fair use, right? But Japan doesn't have any fair use, and so that's how they get them. But then it's like you can't take my video down across the world just because Japan has a rule of this. Then fuck you. I just won't have my videos be able to be watched in Japan because that's where the rules are. Like it shouldn't be that they can get you for that.
Car Wash channel
and then even then they'll do a DMCA thing because there's some rules into that. But then again, like fighting it and actually like trying to fight to say, no, this is fair use within this jurisdiction at least, then I'll keep my videos only in the United States. Right, because I don't want to break any other laws. I can do that. I can set my videos to be region specific or whatever. But then again, like you're saying, to fight that, to step up and say an actual like, because YouTube doesn't give a shit. YouTube's just gonna fuck. You get these people who have.
YouTube will always play it safe. They will always play it safe, regardless of whether it's right or wrong.
That's a better way of putting it. Because like you got these, man, I've seen people swear like just randos, like individuals, not even companies, or people will spin up these companies and do DMCA strikes on people who, for keyboard sounds. I fucking kid you not. Like dudes doing keyboard reviews who are doing like of like a particular keyboard have had DMCA strikes because people have recorded. Yeah, man, people have recorded clicky clacking on a particular keyboard.
Is it like a false match on? Oh, because it's a false match on the sound of them typing in their video.
So I'll say I do a keyboard review, right? And I go, okay, guys, here, listen to this.
Yep.
Right. There's been people out there who have recorded like themselves doing that same thing and say that they own the copyright for the sound of that keyboard. And it's not even the keyboard company. It's some random other fucking people. And they've gotten DMCA strikes on YouTube for the clicky clacking of the keyboard that they're reviewing. Like, it just fucking blows my mind. Like, that kind of stuff is outrageous. It's so weird.
I'm just trying to think because like usually when they do like the auto content matching with the
Uh-huh.
ID, it has to be like a pretty much perfect
No,
match.
I think
but I guess
this has been manual.
Anymore.
I think they've been manual. The ones that I've seen, and this was probably a couple years back. They may
have to be an
they've-
idiot to be like, oh, that's the same as that other guy's video when they're both clearly typing on different keyboards. It just sounds similar.
Yeah, dude, and they'll get all the AdSense from it. That kind of stuff. Yeah, man, it's so weird.
I have to
I
actually
go
go
use the bathroom though.
Go ahead. No, I've actually had this problem. It doesn't happen as much as it used to. So thank goodness that Google did something about it at least. But I would always get a bunch of emails just one day, just out of the blue, like 10 of my videos out of my 800 video library or whatever, like 10, not including my live streams, just the videos that I've uploaded over the years. It's like 10 of my videos. I just get a big blanket email. It's like, oh, these videos have been claimed by such and such for either music or a graphic being visible. Like no kidding, Nintendo claimed the revenue from one of my videos because I literally just for like 2 seconds in the video have a JPG that I downloaded of Mario and I put it on the screen. Because I'm talking about Mario. You'd think that's covered under fair use, actually, because I'm talking about Mario. I'm adding value to it. I'm not presenting it as my own work. And they just immediately are like, oh, Nintendo claimed it? Oh, we're not even going to investigate because Nintendo's on our list of people that we just, whatever they tell us to do, we do. And so they would just like blanket grab a bunch of my videos in my library where it's like I showed Mario or I had like a tiny little 2-second thing of like a sound from a coin or something. And that's why I don't do anything with like the Mario stuff. I used to have an intro that had like Mario and other video games and stuff in it, like little sounds and stuff like doo 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 doo. Everything started getting struck, every single thing. And they wouldn't look into it. And they would immediately just be like, we're not taking down your video. It's not a strike, but all the revenue from this video into the future is going to this other person. And then I would appeal it and then usually lose if it was against a big company. But the worst thing that was happening was when you'd get these weird companies that says, oh, your video has been claimed by, Goober Thompson LLC 5. And you're like, what the hell is this company? And you look at what it's claimed for and it makes no sense. You're like, this makes no sense. These people, who are these people that are doing this? And what it is, they'll create a fake company. System. They'll create a fake company on YouTube and just start pumping in clips into the DMCA system. And then what it'll do is it'll auto match on your video because they took the clip from your video, claimed it into the content claim system, and now your revenue gets sent to them. And what they try to do, and it's really sly, is they look for videos that don't get very many views and that are like 5 to 10 years old. And then they go claim them because they don't think that people are paying attention. They think the vast majority of people that they're claiming just aren't paying attention because those videos are so old or the views are so low that they're not really on their radar as a revenue earner. So, and then they get like 10,000 videos they claim on YouTube, and then they get a nice little sweet revenue check coming in every month. They're basically doing like Office Space. They're pilfering the pennies off of everybody's channel, like putting them into their account. And most people don't catch them. But what I like now is that YouTube has a thing in the dashboard where you can click on it and it'll actually tell you like who's claiming all your content. You can sort by who's claiming. You can go through, see who claimed it. You can appeal it if it looks like it's suspicious. One thing I noticed about the suspicious guys, if you appeal them, they immediately just drop it. Like as soon as they see you appeal them, they don't want any attention brought to them because they're stealing from other people. Right. So they're like, anybody that notices, we'll go ahead and give it right back to you. But if you don't notice, then we're going to keep it. And YouTube does a better job fighting against that now, but there was a period of time where it's like, I swear it was like 2-3 times a week in my email box. Your video got claimed. Your video got claimed. And I go look at it. It's an unrecognizable company with like no personal information. All I can do is go into the content claim system and appeal it. And then I would appeal it and immediately it'd get kicked back to me within 24 hours saying, okay, you won the appeal or whatever. Your revenue has been reinstated. But yeah, if you don't notice, if you don't stay on top of that stuff and pay attention, it's like half your library could be claimed and you wouldn't even realize it. Like if you're not paying attention to your email or it's going into your spam folder, which that did happen to me at one point, like you'll just like, why is my revenue going down? Why is my revenue going? And then by the time you find it and you appeal it, they don't give you the back revenue, by the way. If somebody claims your stuff and you win the appeal, they still keep the money for the time that it was awarded to them. So if you don't catch them for like a month, they get all the revenue for that month, even though you won the appeal. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. So you got to be like on top of it. And I do that. And the other thing is people will just use automation to just copy your videos and re-upload them. This happens all over YouTube. Now YouTube, it was getting so bad that YouTube implemented a system now where in your dashboard, you can just click a button and it'll show you every single video on the platform that matches against your video and what percentage of that video matches against your video, the whole thing or a segment. And then you can go through one by one and claim them. So, and I have to do that probably about twice a month, even for my old videos, even though I haven't made any new videos in a long time, I still have to go through and like, every 2 weeks and go, okay, 1 or 2 or 3 go down in that list and go, nope, give me my revenue, give me my revenue. Cause somebody just copies my video and re-uploads it. And it's really simple to do, especially with AI. AI makes programming so easy now that anybody can be just like, write me a Python script that'll download all the videos from a YouTube channel and upload it to my video channel. And it's like, ding, 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 and you're done. And it's like, you got a script to do it. It'll be like, oh, we've installed, what is it called? YTDLP to download the videos. And then once the videos are downloaded, the Python script will then connect to your channel using the YouTube API, Google, OAuth 3, 2.0. And then it's going to upload it to your channel. It's crazy how easy it is now to just automate anything. Like if you want to automate stuff, just assume you can, because with AI's help, you will. It's just a matter of you going back and forth and negotiating with the damn thing and trying things out. It's pretty wild. Hey, Car Wash Guy, thank you again for the $5, dude. He said, what do you think of the Microsoft Surface Go? I have one and love it. I've never actually used the Surface Go. The last Surface I used was the RT. That's how long it's been. I haven't even used the Pro X, like the hopped up fast one that apparently can do like x86 emulation on ARM.
I have heard good things about the Surfaces, though. The newer Surfaces, Microsoft Surfaces. I don't know about the Go in particular, but just in a general sense.
I know the really high end ARM one, the Surface Pro X or whatever, is like stupid expensive. Like I know people say they like it and everything, but I'm like, why would anybody spend that kind of money on it when it's objectively like lower power than a lot of other systems that you can get, like lower specs? I don't know if they just like the form factor or they like the fact that Microsoft made it. I don't really understand like what it does that's so damn special. And I don't know if the prices come down either. I want to say like when I looked at it, it was like the top spec one was like over $3,000 or something like that. Let's see here, Microsoft Surface Pro X, I think it's called. And they're going for, they're not too bad now. So Microsoft Surface Pro X, 13-inch with 8 gigabytes RAM, still $2,000. That's still quite a bit, man, for a 13-inch tablet. Like, and it is ARM, right? Can somebody confirm in chat, is the Surface Pro X ARM? I'm pretty sure it is. Oh my God. So here's, oh dude. So, okay. Surface Pro X tablet, 13-inch, 16 gigs RAM, only a 256 gig SSD, which is tiny, right? Yeah. Windows 10 Pro, not even Windows 11, 4G. So as a 4G antenna, matte black, $3,000. What? And it's just a tablet with like a crappy magnetic keyboard that like pops onto the bottom of it. Like it's basically a glorified iPad.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand why. I mean, there are some cheap ones. Like I see one here for like what do you get for $900? So $900 you can buy a 13-inch, 8 gigs RAM, 256 Wi-Fi with 4G LTE. Last year's model, $899 for a 13-inch with 8 gig. That's not horrible. That's like an iPad territory, right? For something similar. And plus you're running Windows on it. Plus you're going to be able to, and I hear the x86 emulation ain't great. Like don't think like M1. Don't think like Mac M1 where it's like hardware emulation where you're actually going to get, high speeds on x86 apps and stuff like that. No, that emulation still has quite a bit of overhead. I know it's gotten a lot better, but I know it's not perfect. Omi says it's a Snapdragon. That makes sense. I know Snapdragons. I think they're still the highest. They make the highest power ARM processor, correct? Let's see here. I missed the Microsoft store. It was such a great store. Microsoft closed them down. Says they want to transition everything online. Wait a second. They closed the Microsoft stores? Oh, shit. That's news to me. I mean, I haven't been to the mall in years. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've been to the mall since the whole COVID thing, but I had no idea they closed the stores.
Good.
Steve Miller said the nice thing about being rich is you can ignore how expensive something is if it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, I'm so jelly. There was once upon a time where I had money and I could do things and stuff. But now we've entered into the portion of my life where it's like I got to tap my retirement early just to survive and barely get by. But hey, that's life. And it's only going to get worse with tariffs coming, and it's going to get worse with AI taking our jobs. So we'll just have to figure it out as we go. Hopefully I can remain at least funny enough and entertaining enough to enough people that actually have some money that I can still survive. But, that remains to be seen. Let's see here. James Jana said, I thought you used and reviewed the Surface Studio. I did. I didn't own it though. It was loaned to me by a friend. Yeah.
That big one with the knob you could put on. I thought that was cool. Whatever happened to actually I think the original thing was called a Surface. The multi-touch.
They call everything the Surface. They call it like
multi-touch table that they did, right? Where you could have like 20 it was like 4 hands, I think. Yeah, you could have up to 10 or 20 touch points. Like you could have 2 people doing stuff
and
on it.
And they'd be like little tables in like lobbies in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was like a table. It was like a coffee table.
Yep, some restaurants had them and stuff. So they called that the Surface. They called the tablet the Surface. And they created this big projection thing that projected at the wall and would track your hands using like a Kinect. And that was also called the Surface. So they had like 3 products that were like all. and the Surface Pro Studio, which was a desktop computer that's x86 based, that had a 5K screen that was like 12-bit color. That was the one thing I will say. The Surface Studio was exorbitantly expensive. I want to say that the one Adam gave me to review was I want to say it was like $4,000 or something. It was really expensive. It was stupid expensive. But the thing that made it unique is it had a 5K screen on it that was like 100% of the Adobe RGB color space. Like it was a perfect color graded monitor for like doing professional work. But you know what sucked about it? Is as soon as that computer is obsolete, which basically it was right out of the box, it was pretty low specs because it's like they had to build the whole computer in the base that's like this big. You can't use the screen for anything else. They didn't give you any way to tap into the screen. So when that computer becomes obsolete, you have to throw out a $2,500 screen with the like $500 computer.
$47
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I saw a guy. Oh, sorry.
9800 by 3D
Hey,
CPU.
So Pele. Oh, Pele. My God, did he just tip?
Oh yeah,
$50 basically.
500 sexes. Yeah, man.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Before I hit him up really quick, I just want to complete my thought. The Surface Studio had the most gorgeous screen I've ever seen. Like even by today's standards, it was a beautiful screen with amazing color accuracy. It was like HDR too. It was like 12-bit, which is actually more. HDR10 is just 10-bit, right? So 12-bit color, 5K, and you could draw on it. It had a surface with a pen and a Wacom surface, so you could actually do like accurate drawing.
Yeah.
But you had to throw the screen out when the computer became obsolete. Imagine having such a perfect screen that you can't even buy. Like it's not even a screen you can buy and attach to another computer. Right? It's so screwed up. I hate companies that do shit like that. And then they made it so freaking hard. So freaking hard to use the screen. You had to hack it. You had to like open it up, take out the board, buy this like chip to like solder the shit onto to give it an HDMI endpoint so that you could use the screen. Like 1 or 2 people did it. I saw it in a article on the internet, but it was like so much hassle. And then you could go on, but the cool thing is you could go on eBay and buy the old units for like $800. And then you'd get like this $2,000 screen if you're willing to do the work to convert it over and actually get the screen to work as an HDMI device. Hey, Estabandito, what's up? Hey, Graham, what's up, man? By the way, belated happy birthday to you, Graham.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, wow, there's a bunch of super chats coming in here. Let's answer all these questions here. So Pele said, hey, geeks, what do you think of the AMD 9800 X3D CPU? Seems to be the next PC gaming CPU if you play mostly, and then it got cut off.
I don't know.
I don't know anything really. The only thing I know about AMD chips is my my framework. This is my favorite laptop on earth. This thing is freaking amazing balls, and it has an AMD chip in it.
Oh yeah,
and it's actually sold me on AMD. Like I am shocked at how powerful this little bastard is.
As it stands, especially in the enthusiast space, AMD is the top dog right now. I just recently saw a headline saying that the 9800, what is it, the 9800 X3D, sold out and it being scalped pretty bad. I haven't seen it myself. I just saw, like I said, I just saw a headline about it.
I mean, the only thing they're losing on is core speed, right? They're winning on multiple cores. They're winning on performance per gigahertz. So I think the only thing Intel really has on them is like top core, single core speed.
Single core-ish,
it's like barely.
Yeah. And actually, I think they took a little. Again, this is more of the enthusiast side of things. Intel took a little bit of a step back with the Core Ultra stuff, but I think it's because they've moved to a new architecture. They're starting I remember hearing that they're trying to get back to their like tick-tock architecture calendar plan or whatever, right? They introduce a new architecture, and then they'll do 2 refreshes before they do another like major change, I think is what they're supposed to be doing. So this is the new architecture. This is the new tick, and they'll see 2 talks, 2 refreshes of it. And I think it's a step back, but they've dropped hyperthreading as it's implemented, as they have previously implemented it, in exchange for boosting more of the efficiency cores and such. They're taking inspiration from how AMD does their multi-threading and their.
I was surprised when you told me they were dropping hyperthreading. Like, I honestly didn't think they would.
It's still so. This is where I don't understand.
Microsoft like rewrote the thread scheduler to support it. It's like now that all goes in the garbage.
And this is where I don't understand the like the physical architecture part from the like software multi-threading thing, because like you can still do multi-threading on Intel's, like that's not going away. I think it's just how they're implementing the multi-threading capability is changing, and that's on the physical architecture side. And they're, from what I understand, they're taking a similar approach to what AMD is doing with like their own style of like chiplet sort of design and whatnot, where again you have these like performance cores versus like a bunch of efficiency cores. Yeah, Pure Havoc's got the right idea. Hyperthreading still exists, but it's more like how AMD is implementing it, and it's on the physical side of things.
They're still going to call it hyperthreading. It's still going to show up as cores.
No.
It's gonna be, it is going to be called.
They're not calling it hyperthreading anymore.
All right.
Because where it used to be, you'd have like 8 cores, 16 threads, right? It was almost always a double of the cores for the threads that it could handle.
Yep.
It's not like that anymore because it's like lopsided. Now you'll have 4 performance cores and like 8 efficiency cores, and how they're distributing the processing is what's is kind of what's changing. Do you think when they do eventually come out that Nvidia CPUs will be any good? I don't think Nvidia is going to do CPUs, and if they do, it won't be like consumer CPUs. It'd be high end data center stuff where it'd be like Citrix, right? Citrix still makes CPUs of a sort, but it wouldn't be the same kind of processing unit that you see from Intel and AMD, in my opinion. I haven't looked into it enough to know for sure.
I'd be really surprised if they manufacture CPUs, considering how good they are at manufacturing GPUs and small nanometer stuff like that. Like I don't see them moving into like x86, x64 or anything.
That's where I was going to say.
Maybe ARM. Maybe ARM.
Yes, it would be an ARM style implementation. It would not be an x86 or x64 architecture style.
And doesn't Nvidia already own like some ARM some ARM stuff? I thought that they had like some licensing thing where they could actually produce.
Oh, everybody licenses shit from ARM. Yeah, everybody does. In fact, Nvidia wanted to buy ARM, if I remember correctly, and they got shut down for it.
So I want to say Nvidia does make an ARM chip. I just can't remember what.
Isn't that what runs run the Shield with some kind of?
See here. Does Nvidia make ARM chips? Because I'm almost sure that they did.
Yeah, I think it was what was running.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay,
Shield.
so yes,
it was in the Shield, wasn't it?
Nvidia does make ARM chips. They've been producing ARM-based processors for use. The Tegra, the fucking thing. You're right, in the Shield. Yeah, the Tegra in the Shield.
Yeah.
Recently, they plan to do a high-end
in the
ARM
Switch. I thought AMD did the Switch. So that's interesting to hear.
So check this out. Recently, Nvidia announced plans to launch a high-end ARM-based CPU and GPU platform for consumers in September of 2025.
It'll be a
this new
console.
Platform will leverage Nvidia's own CPU and GPU design, so they are actually planning on jumping into the CPU market.
It'll be like a console, right? It'll be like a Steam OS sort of thing.
I wonder if they're going to do like a system on chip kind of thing, like where it's video CPU together in a package.
Like they're going to start selling their own tablets directly or something like that. It won't be. That'd be kind of rad if you could buy like a little box that had GeForce Now built into it or something like that.
Dude, or how pissed would Nvidia be,
some sort of streaming marketplace?
How pissed would Intel be after all the work that they've done with Nvidia? Like Intel and Nvidia have been in bed forever. Even back when I worked at Microsoft, it's like they worked very closely together to optimize and give themselves advantages and stuff like that. So God, that would be the biggest slap to Intel's face. But then again, to be fair, Intel did venture into their market, right? Making GPUs.
Hey man, I hope
all's fair in love and war.
I want Intel to keep going down with the GPUs. I don't expect them to really compete.
They could be a price option, like a cheap bang for buck.
Yeah, they can battle close with AMD on like the mid range. I think that'd be so awesome.
I really think they already did, right? With the last generation, the second generation that they released, I thought were pretty competitive for dollar for performance. Like
the 700 series ones are actually not bad. Honestly, and they've gotten better and better with drivers and stuff.
Arc is dead. It's pretty
much confirmed. Arc is dead. I hope not. They have one more set coming out, the Battle Mage stuff.
I mean, if it's well received, they'll probably change their decision and keep doing it.
I really think they should. Or
You know
if
what
it-
else the ARC was killer
it
at was
off.
video encoding. I
That's
heard
a
the
big
ARC
part.
ran
Yes.
away. Like that was the one thing they really kicked Nvidia's ass on was the video encoding stuff.
Yeah, because it's basically like a quick sync encoder.
Yep.
And yeah, so like you could buy the cheap 720 one or whatever, the cheap, not the original ones, the 500s or whatever it was, the 700s, for like what, $200 or something. Add that as a secondary card against your high end Nvidia card for, and then an AMD CPU. That's like primo combo for you got the ARC card for any sort of HEVC encode and decode.
You can run these all side by side with Windows. Windows supports running multiple different GPUs
and the
different
software
architectures and everything. Yep.
You'd also need like Resolve Pro Studio or something to handle multi GPU.
Yep.
I think Premiere can do it as well. You can point it to like, oh, I'm going to export this video. Use this graphics card.
You can actually do it at Windows level now too. In Windows 11, it supports actually telling at the operating system level. You can tell the application that it only has access to one of your GPUs, and you can dictate which one.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. You use the Nvidia card for like your heavy duty graphics, your VFX, your rendering, things like that, your After Effects work, whatever. The ARC card for encode and decode of your footage. Because like say you got a bunch of H.264, H.265 stuff, use the ARC card for that. Along with like Premiere Pro, because I think you get best compatibility with different codecs and bit color depth and things like that through Premiere Pro than Resolve, if I recall correctly. And then an AMD processor for all the extra cores that you're going to get for your After Effects multi-frame rendering. And dude, that is gold. That is gold.
Do you know what's encoding the stream right now? It's not my 4090.
Oh, it's good. It shouldn't be. It should be the quick sync.
Yeah, I'm using Intel onboard graphics. So here's a tech tip for you guys that I had to figure out too, because I was shocked. Most motherboards by default, if you install a PCIe graphics card, they disable the onboard graphics by default.
Correct.
The BIOS will disable just because it doesn't want you to have a conflict in the operating system picking one or the other. It wants it to pick the best card. However, if you go into the BIOS and you force the onboard graphics on and you're running Windows 10 or Windows 11, both graphics cards will load the driver, and you can actually farm out different things to different graphics cards. So like, for instance, I have OBS right now using the Intel graphics to do the encoding because it's really good at doing encoding. And then the RTX 4090 is like completely freed up to do compositioning of like the scenes and stuff under Edge browser.
Yeah, you're tracking stuff in like After Effects. There's a lot of GPU accelerated stuff, but you use that. Point it to the Nvidia card for that stuff, but then on your encode and decode, you use the ARC card. That's the way. Yeah.
So if you have a CPU that has onboard graphics, just open up Device Manager and see if it's showing up under displays. If it's not, then go into the BIOS and enable it. What's the caveat?
Intel.
Sorry, Intel. What did I say?
Yeah, you just said if you have onboard graphics. I just don't want anybody with like an AMD 5600G, trying to use the onboard APU.
And it's all like slow 2 frames a second.
Don't do that. If you have an Intel K processor, not any of the ones with the F on it don't have the the iGPU enabled. So it's got to be one of the K. Actually, it could be a non-K. Whatever, just make sure it's got the iGPU
it supports a high efficiency codec, the H.265 and H.264 encoding and decoding. So it works really well. It's actually really good.
It's quick sync. It uses the iGPU for that, and 100%. It's really, really good. Like phenomenal for and just so for the folks at home who may not necessarily understand. HEVC or H.264, H.265 stuff is a lot of what you record with your cell phone. It's a highly compressed video codec. It's not really meant for editing because it's like
it's not linear. It doesn't do linear compression. Yeah, so it's like it's not good for scrubbing.
It only saves the changes from one frame to another, like when the pixels change and whatnot. It's not every frame individually.
Yeah,
no iGPU on my 36. Yeah, most of the common AMD GPUs don't have onboard graphics built in. You have to have the G ones. It'll be the 5800G. I think will have the graphics card have an iGPU in it.
Oh, another little
somebody
tech
was
tip
saying.
Go ahead.
Pretty sure it works for AMD APUs. I think you can point it to AMD APUs, but they're trash. It's Intel's worked really close with I don't know exactly what it is, but the technology, they call it QuickSync, and it leverages the Intel iGPU to do these sorts of things.
It's an actual hardware encoder built into the CPU.
Yeah.
It's not the CPU itself like emulating an encoder.
Right.
It's a physical hardware encoder.
Yeah.
So,
so
even
if
it barely hits the CPU at all. Like it uses like 3% or something like that. It's not very much.
It wouldn't be as good. So
yeah, so if you have multiple graphics cards, the tip I wanted to tell people too is if you do have multiple graphics cards in your system and you want to dictate like which app uses which graphics card, like without the app having to like go into the app and selecting it. In Windows 11, go into System, Display, and then go down to Graphics. And under there, it'll say Custom Options for Apps, and it'll list a bunch of applications. You can search and add them if they're not there. And then your options are for each app when you add it is you can either say, let Windows decide which GPU to use. You can select which GPU up to however many is in the system, and it'll tell you which ones are power saving, which ones are high performance. Like in my case, it says the Intel UHD Graphics 770 is my power saving one, and my high powered one is Nvidia RTX 4090. And then you can select which one you want. If you don't want Windows to decide based on like the laptop, if it's on battery, it'll pick one over the other automatically. And then you can also select whether you want it to use optimizations for Windows game or if you want it not to use HDR. So if you have an old app that doesn't work with HDR, you can disable that too per app, which is really freaking cool, by the way. I actually use it all the time. Like I go down the list right now. It's like I have it set up so that the internal camera app uses power saving.
Nori SS tipped $5.
Oh, thank you, Nori.
Forever my Barney.
Oh.
Guy. CUX high UX.
I just want to clarify too. Hurtful Spring. They say all AMD CPU 7 series and up has an iGPU, and I was not aware of that, and they are correct. So that's good to know.
So if you have a modern CPU, turn that shit on in the BIOS and stop wasting it.
I was unaware. I thought it was only the G ones. So that's cool to know. That's actually really cool to know.
Yep.
Thank
and
you.
The encoder also supports DMA to the memory too, so it can actually access the memory and use like 2 gigs, or I think it's up to like 2 gigs. I think the iGPU can use, or maybe it can use more than that. I'll have to look, but it'll borrow your system memory to use as VRAM. It basically,
sure.
like, it's basically it's not as fast as like Nvidia, like was it DDR6 or whatever the hell it is. But it's still plenty fast for like video encoding and stuff like that. You don't need crazy high speed RAM for video encoding.
No, RAM speed actually has very little to do with your has very almost a statistically zero effect on most productivity apps.
Graham said at this point, I'm going to have to steal components to afford buying a new PC. It's crazy how expensive components are. Dude, it's going to get so much worse in 3 months,
dude,
bro.
I was just thinking that too.
Dude, we might as well just talk about the tariffs that are coming, because that's something that's going to happen whether we like it or not, and it's going to completely fuck everything and make everything really expensive. So we'll just have to weather the storm. One thing I do want to recommend, and literally politics aside, this is just fact. This is just finances, right? So this is just how finances work. When tariffs go up, the price of goods go up. The cost of materials go up. So even domestically produced things go up in price. You just have to accept it, right?
That's the thing.
So if you're buying filament, if you're buying computer components or anything that we don't domestically manufacture from literally soup to nuts, meaning like ore out of the ground to the final product here in the United States without importing shit, the price is going to go up. So make damn sure if you can get everything you need to weather the storm for a while, because it's going to take numbnuts a while to figure out that it's fucking the economy over just like last time, and it'll have to reverse it. So allow yourself 3 to 6 months, hopefully, to weather the storm and get through all the crazy high prices. If you're looking for a 3D printer, definitely get it now, because 3D printers have never been cheaper. Like you can find 3D printers for like $200 now. They're like really, really nice. So like load up on that shit, because that $200 printer is going to become a $600 printer. The $600 printer is going to become like, plus $1,000. Filament's going to go from, $20 to $30 a roll, probably upwards of $50 to $70 a roll. So just it's so funny. My sense just popped up. Hey, we've detected that you have a dryer. Really? I've had you for like 3 years and you didn't know I had a dryer, and you're now just detecting it? What the hell's wrong with you? Let's see. Your Pure Havoc said you'll all be amazed at what products use aluminum that is imported. That includes food too. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude,
hey,
literally everything we make domestically usually depends on some foreign material or some foreign piece of equipment. So that's oh, what does that say?
That's weird. Car Wash Guy says, I had to get a Surface Go because I needed Windows to log into my work domain, so that's why I got a Windows tablet over iPad. That's interesting.
Okay.
That's a very strange
So why did you need it for
restriction.
domain? Because I thought anything running Windows can join the domain, or does it require some chip inside of the Go? Does the Go have like some special authentication chip that like is more secure for Windows domains or Active Directory or something? Because I've never been able not to connect to Active Directory with any Windows machine, regardless. Does it require like some BitLocker, like advanced BitLocker support or something? That's
I'm
very
curious.
bizarre. I've never heard of that.
He's like, I needed Windows to log into my work. So that implies you're more of a Mac iOS kind of guy.
That's what I'm thinking.
But even still, that is a very strange restriction. That's a strange restriction to log into a work domain. Because like,
yeah, because isn't Active Directory supported by iOS? I thought Apple supported Active Directory a long time ago.
It could just be their IT people are being a little strict and not wanting to implement Mac compatibility and whatnot. Because
Active Directory does allow you to reject hardware. You can reject hardware in Active Directory. You can specifically create a group.
I imagine they just don't want to support.
You can't join
Apple stuff. But that's just interesting. Pell, what's happening with Intel when it comes to CPUs? They seem to have fallen asleep. They were before. Oh, they were better than AMD before.
Intel never brought the nanometer down. They kept making these big nanometer high gigahertz single.
That's part of it. That's part of it. I think part of it is that for a number of years Intel was being run by bean counters, and only just recently have they had like a real engineer at the top, and it's going to take a while for them to sort of realign.
One thing I've noticed,
I think that's the major thing.
Companies get cocky when they have an advantage for a long period of time.
Oh, that's a big one.
And they start thinking that they're indestructible.
But
and then by the time they figure out that they're not, it's too late. I've seen this happen. Windows Mobile versus iOS, right? Yeah. Windows like, oh, we're the only ones making this mobile operating. Nobody will ever be able to dethrone us. They got their ass handed to them and kicked in the nuts.
I think had they stuck with Windows Mobile, or like especially how they were the design that they had like sort of Windows 8 with the tiles and all that stuff. I think if they had really doubled down and put just a couple more years into Windows phones, 100%. they could be a third option when it comes to cell phones.
They would be a competitor. They gave up way too
I really think if they just stuck with it. Same with like getting rid of Mixer as a live stream platform.
Bro, they killed it.
If they stuck with it just another couple years, I really think they could have had something really
Microsoft
good.
is the king of killing shit early.
Fuck. Especially with how great Xbox Game Pass is right now. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a cell phone, a Windows cell phone? And you can do this, of course. You can. There's cloud stuff for this now, but it could have been baked in. They could have done like the Asus ROG phone kind of thing, where they targeted high end enthusiast gamers.
Yep.
And sold it'd be like a combo portable console / cell phone, right? Like, and that's how they market it more as like a Switch than a cell phone. Like all of the messaging would be pushing it as more of a gaming platform, and then oh my god, and build in you get a year of Xbox Game Pass with the phone right off the bat. Oh, they just sold like hotcakes. People would
here's what
love
pisses
it.
me off. Here's what pissed me off because I worked on Windows Mobile. You know, I did some work on the late Windows Mobile 10, right?
Oh my god.
So Windows Mobile 10 was one of the last products I worked on before I left Microsoft, like before it was public. Now check this out. This is where Microsoft fucked up. When they released Windows Mobile 8, right? It was their ARM proprietary operating system for the phone, which means it couldn't run anything that the desktop operating system could. It was its own proprietary standalone operating system. So any software you wrote for it had to be just for it, not for anything else.
Yeah.
Then Windows, they merged the three teams. Remember, that's when they did the massive layoffs when Satya came in. So then they had Xbox, Windows, and phone all merged together into one super team. They changed the phone to use Windows 10 kernel, and so the Windows phone was literally running Windows 10 just skinned with a different Explorer. It was basically a mobile Explorer, right?
Yeah.
And they already had ARM fully integrated, so they didn't have to have the whole RT versus x86. It was all in one ecosystem. And then after they did that, they merged it to where you could write software that would run on Xbox, phone, and PC. Like the same binary could run on all three platforms. They canceled it.
Yeah.
So it was like right when they finally got to a point where like everything developers complained about and everything that was keeping them from gaining ground, like went away, and they solved the problem, and then they canceled. And right after they canceled, you know what happens? iOS does the same thing. MacBook Pro and iOS merge together. start using common components, and now you can run shit on your MacBook that you run on iOS. On your iOS, you can run MacBook shit. Your iPad Pro can run MacBook shit. Like they did exactly what Microsoft. Again, Microsoft's way ahead of the curve, and had they stuck with it, they would have been fine. But Microsoft kills everything the second it's not doing good. They just give up and run away. It's so fucking stupid.
Right?
It's like, you know how many times when Microsoft has beat Apple to the punch, and it just gave up. Like iPad, do you think the iPad was like the first thing of its kind? No, the compact tablet was. The x86 compact tablet had a horrible battery life, cost like $4,000. But literally it was a tablet that you could use your finger, you could use a stylus. It ran Windows XP, you could do all the shit on it, everything. It was awesome. It was from Compaq. And it was literally, the iPad was twice as thick as an iPad, but back then, this is way before the iPad. Then they're like, nobody's buying it because it's too expensive. The battery life sucks. So they discontinue it instead of improving it. And then Apple comes out with the iPad like 3 years later and just dominates. And the iPad is quite literally like blow for blow when it first came out, like what that Compaq was. And less capable. The Compaq actually ran Windows XP software, whereas the iPad never did. So, well, not XP, just XP software, but you know what I mean? It didn't run x86 software. But yeah, I was like, dude, Microsoft is just like, they dump all the money. They buy, like when they bought Nokia, right? They bought Nokia, the biggest cell phone manufacturer in the entire world, to start producing these Windows phones that can run this cross-platform everything. And they basically tank the entire company along with Windows, take down Nokia, which was fine before they came along, and literally put an entire town out of business. Like everybody got laid off from like all the factories. I was like, God damn, man, this is so freaking cringe. So yeah, Microsoft needs to stop doing that for sure. But seriously, I do feel like Microsoft is really good at beating everybody else to the punch with the R&D, but then they just don't stick with it. They always give up. They throw in the same thing with like the Surface, like that Surface tablet, the Surface table thing. Yeah, everybody would have had one if they just brought the price down. If they started creating more of them, cheaper technology. Ooh, you're getting raided by dogs. You got the doggies coming in. But that table, that Surface table that they created, guys, that thing would have been a hit. Everybody would have had that in their living room. Like everybody would have. That thing was so amazingly unique. And then they're like, we'll just cancel it and then we'll create a tablet and call it a Surface instead. Or we'll create somebody had mentioned the Surface Hub. I forgot about the Surface Hub. That was the whiteboard thing, right? So yeah, so Microsoft created a table, a display for a wall that tracks hands, a digital whiteboard, a Surface like tablet thing, and a full desktop all-in-one PC with a drawing thing and a knob on it that was unique. And all of them had the Surface name. They all were called Surface.
It's bad.
So, which is confusing. Same thing with Xbox. Like, it's called the Xbox Pro, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series 1X. Their naming conventions suck, man. It's so freaking confusing.
It's really bad.
I wonder how many kids got like the wrong Xbox on Christmas. Dude,
so
because
many.
People are confused.
Because they got the S instead of the X, or Oh man.
Yeah, like, this is last generation's Xbox, Mom. This can't run any of the games you just bought me here.
Bruh.
It's silly, man. It's just straight up fucking silly. Those are some cute dogs. He does have some cute dogs.
Oh yeah, the weenies.
Nokia had money problems when Microsoft bought them. You wouldn't guess it by how much they paid for them. Dude, they paid out the ass. I want to say that they gave like some ridiculous, like billions and billions of dollars. It was really stupid.
I'm still so upset they got rid of Mixer, and then the Facebook all things. And then what happened? Who even does Facebook gaming? Nobody. Like, it's so.
That was really stupid of them to go through all that effort and all that money to.
Dude, they spent so much to steal. And then they
just walk away and give it to Facebook.
And just, oh my gosh, it was just. Man.
And then the reason people were on Mixer is because they didn't want to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole point, is they didn't want to be on Facebook, and they're like, here, Facebook, you want our Mixer platform because it's better than what you got? Oh, sure, here, we'll take all your users. And people are like, no. Steve said Apple's philosophy on security is overkill, though. I don't think so. I don't feel that way. I actually like Apple's views on security.
Yeah.
I like that Apple doesn't cooperate with law enforcement, doesn't cooperate with police. They actually really stand by trying to keep your privacy from law enforcement. However, they violate your privacy all the time. But
I do think they kind of toot their own horn a little bit too much on that side, because like
gotta get that marketing money.
Samsung's just as good. Like the Knox thing that Samsung, but nobody talks about that because.
Well, I don't even know what it is, so obviously
it's their security platform. It's the whatever wing or whoever it pops up and says protected by Knox. It's like the
I have never heard of this. This is news to me.
See,
that's what I mean. Talk about their shit more. So yeah, well, we're talking about security on iOS. So iOS 18 has a new security feature to make it harder for police to unlock your iPhone. Because if you guys haven't been following, there are a lot of crooked police out there that have been taking people's phones and sticking them up to their face while they're handcuffed in the back of the cars and shit to unlock them so they just go through their shit without asking. There have been so many times where police have actually forced the person to unlock the phones, like so that they could get in there and delete the videos. However, my favorite thing in the world is they always go in and delete the video, but they don't realize that it gets held for 30 days in like a hidden recycling bin and you can recover it. So there's so many times where they've deleted the video off the person's phone and then they just go in and recover it and then give it to their lawyers and then the police officer like gets fired. But it's wild how often this happens. Like police, if they see you recording and they know that they're doing shit that's violating your rights, they will go out of their way to try to get into that phone. Even they'll violate more of your rights. Like it doesn't matter to them. So I like that Apple's like going out of their way to try to protect people. So the article reads, there is apparently a new iOS 18 feature that reboots iPhones that haven't been unlocked in a few days, frustrating police by making it harder to break into suspects' iPhones because they usually confiscate them and put them into evidence, and this will reboot it to force it to require
reboot. You need to punch in your code rather than do any of the face or thumb stuff. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Same with my Samsung phone.
Like one of the smartest things you can actually do if you manage is before a police officer tries to take your phone away or you suspect they're going to confiscate your phone, even if you're recording, stop the recording, turn the phone down, turn it off. Because that's your best bet to keep them out.
Because your biometrics are not covered under the Fourth Amendment. They are publicly available information.
If it can be seen in public. Yeah. If you're seen in public, they can put that thing right up to your face and unlock it.
Yeah. They can't force you to give any passwords or codes. That's private information. That's covered under the Fifth Amendment. So Fourth Amendment search and seizure, right? They can take your biometrics because it's out in the open.
They will lie to you though and be like, if you give us your password, we'll go easy on you and you'll get you moved through and you'll go home. No, never do that. Never let them into your shit. Ever. No. Even if you got nothing to hide, it doesn't even matter. Just do not let them into your shit.
That's the thing. That's the key. Like there's a really good lecture that I remember watching, and it's from a long time. It's from a fairly long time ago, but there's this legal scholar, legal lawyer. I think he's just a straight up like lawyer. He's talking about this college class about. He really breaks down the anything you say can and will be used against you. It doesn't matter if what you say is the truth and is what's the word exculpatory, right? Whether it exonerates you from what they're trying to get you on. They will use your words against you.
Their goal is to get a conviction. That's it.
Against you. They will do it. Even if what you say is like exonerates you or shows your innocence, they will use it against you. That's it. They're telling you how they're going to be an asshole. So
you know what they're not allowed to use against you though under the law is you not unlocking your shit. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to not give them access to your personal property, and they cannot use that in court against you. They'll say they will, but
criminal cases. In criminal cases, the Fifth Amendment cannot be used as as like evidence of guilt. In civil cases, though, it can.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So in civil cases, they can force access to your shit.
They can't force it. They can't force you. But if you say, "Oh, I plead the Fifth," that act can be used as
Are you serious? I did not know that. That's fucked.
As like evidence of guilt, essentially. From what I heard, again, as always, I'm not a lawyer. These are.
Do we have any lawyers in the house?
Things that just kind of bubble in my head. I'll always encourage you to investigate further. But from my understanding is. The Fifth Amendment, if you say, "Oh, I plead the Fifth," that can't be used against you, or it cannot be used as evidence of guilt in a criminal thing.
You're right.
But in civil cases, that can't. If you're, you're suing your landlord or something, and there's a jury thing, then that can be used as like evidence of your guilt.
Bro, that's great information. I did not know that. That is great to know. That is great to know. There's a lot of civil lawsuits that happen. That's the most common one, right? So check this out. So pleading the Fifth Amendment in a civil case can potentially incriminate you.
Yeah.
While the Fifth Amendment protects you against self-incrimination, it can lead to adverse interferences in civil cases. This means that the judge or jury may assume that the information you're withholding would be unfavorable to your case, where they can't in a federal case. And oh my God.
In a criminal case. Yeah.
In a criminal case. Sorry, criminal case.
Yeah.
So,
isn't that whack? Isn't that
that's fucking super whack? I did not know that. I'm glad I know that now because that is terrible, bro.
It's also because like in civil stuff, you don't always have it's not about it's not about reasonable doubt, right?
I know that it's a lesser thing that you have, lesser bar that you have to meet in a civil case. I know that.
That's the thing. And I think that's why, that's why the Fifth Amendment can be used that way. Yeah.
Dude, we just learned something. A bunch of us learned something today. I know I did.
And this is coming from a guy who's like, my experience with the court system is very minimal, but I'm always in the back of my head, I'm always like, you're not going to get me.
Yep.
Fuckers.
Yeah. So anytime cops pull me over, they talk to me, I'm always really polite to them. I'm never mean. I'm never rude. I don't try to be that guy. It's like, oh, I'm trying to give you a hard time. I just explain that no, I'm not going to give you access to this. I'm not going to answer that question. I don't have to. And luckily, most of the police I've run into, not all, some of them have lied and done some pretty shady ass shit with me.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they usually will. If you tell them, I don't want to talk about that, they won't ask again.
Yeah.
So because they're not supposed to, by the way, if you plead the Fifth and they keep talking to you, that's not okay. Like they're not allowed. Like if you say I don't want to talk to you without my lawyer present and they keep asking you questions, that's not okay.
Yep.
Like that.
Also, like look into your local requirements for what you are obligated to provide. Like,
it is different. It is different. Yeah.
A lot of people's touch points with the police are going to be when you get pulled over, and there are certain obligations you have during a legitimate traffic stop, and it goes both ways. Like I think it's pretty universal. They have to tell you why they stopped you. That should be the very first thing that they tell you. Because they're interrupting your freedom of movement, which that's like a constitutionally protected right is your freedom of movement. So they have to tell you why they stopped you.
There are some states where it's like you have to give them ID, like if they ask, no matter what, even if they're not detaining you.
And that's generally it.
Most of the time, I don't think that's the case.
That's generally the basic, like the minimum requirement is you do have to provide license, registration, and depending on your locality, proof of insurance.
So like, for instance, Washington State, you only have to provide your driver's license to a police officer when they request it if you're driving a car. So if it's a moving infraction, obviously, if they ask for your license, you have to.
Generally don't have to.
You don't have to. It does. That's funny. I'm like literally reading this as you're saying that. And it's like, however, police cannot ask the passengers in the vehicle for ID without individualized suspicion, which means he has to suspect them of their own individualized crime.
Right. So like if your passenger wasn't wearing a seatbelt, they can pull you over for that.
Yeah.
For the passenger not wearing a seatbelt. And then because you're driving, you have to give up your license and registration, proof of insurance. And then because the passenger was the one actually breaking the law, they also have to turn over their ID.
Yeah, but by them being present as a passenger doesn't automatically incriminate them and make them have to provide their license.
So that's an interesting one. Mo World said, sir, we stopped you for using your phone while driving. Here in Washington, the cell phone thing is actually what do they call it? A supplemental charge. So that can't be the main reason they pulled you over.
Yeah, they have to pull you over for another reason, and then that's an add-on.
Which they'll get you. They'll say, oh, you were swerving, or
your lights out. It just turned back on magically.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But that's an add-on charge. So like if you're speeding, they'll get you for, that's the main one. They'll pull you over for that. They'll get you for speeding, and then they'll add on using your phone or distracted driving. They can't pull you over just for that.
So it says in Washington State, you're only required to provide your identification if you're driving a car or in certain situations involving alcohol or marijuana. Yeah, however, police cannot ask passengers in the vehicle for ID without individualized suspicion. And it says if you're stopped by a police officer in Washington, you have the right to ask if you are free to leave. If the answer is yes, you can walk away without saying anything else.
Yeah, so that's if you're being accosted like on the street. Say, hey, if they're hollering at you while you're walking down the street, you don't
just
have
say,
to
am
stop.
I free to leave? Am I free to leave? Just keep saying, am I free to leave? Yep.
Am I being detained? If they say yes, what is your reasonable articulable suspicion? What crime? What crime do you suspect me of?
We watch the same YouTube channels.
Well, it's fun to use the proper terms.
It is. Because it is. I can never memorize the absolute proper terms, so I'm just like,
I love it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I invoke and refuse to waive my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Please do not ask me any more questions.
My favorite thing is watching the videos where the police are like, I'm a police officer, I am the law, I know these things, and then they get their ass handed to them, and then they have to pay the person like $100,000 for violating their rights.
You went through a 6-week course. You don't know shit about the law.
Because remember, qualified immunity, which I think in Washington they do actually have it, sadly.
Yeah.
But qualified immunity only applies if they're actually administering their job properly.
Yeah.
Right.
And lawful.
Lawful. As soon as they go off the reservation, you can get that shit shot down in court. There's no more protection for them. That's
why it's best to just not say anything. And you might end up in the clink for overnight or something. But man, it's just it's better. It's better.
Yep.
Suspicion can be easily abused though, and a lot of places too were like they're not allowed to say, "Oh, I smell marijuana," oh, get out of the car. They can't do that in
Right.
some places. That's not enough, right? Because like, especially, I want to say, especially in places where like marijuana is legal. But maybe I hotboxed my car this morning. You don't know.
Yeah,
My
doesn't
shit
mean I was
probably
driving
stank
it.
bad. I'm just coming back from the shop. You don't know. So like, you can't just stick your head in and go, oh, or like, oh, it smells like you've been drinking. Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's your opinion, man. You don't know.
I've sadly had police try to intimidate me before to try to
Had
get me
somebody
to
dump a
agree
beer
to
on me.
committing a
Fuck you.
crime. And yeah, don't fall for that shit.
I was like the one. So I got pulled over years and years and years ago on my little 50cc scoot. I've told this story.
oh yeah, I remember this one. Yeah.
And technically, so this is all done and gone, so it doesn't matter. But technically, I was going faster than what I should have been. Like, so technically, I didn't need a motorcycle endorsement because it was a moped or a scooter. And one of the big things for it to be classified that way is that it can't go over 30 miles an hour. They have to be like governed and stuff to not go faster than 30 miles an hour, and engine size restrictions and things like that. I was totally doing like 35 in a 35. Like I was going. But he was only pacing me. He was behind me, like just pacing me, which is not enough evidence, by the way. If the cop it says, "Oh, I was pacing you doing 80 miles an hour," that is not generally you can get that. Like
that one's easy to throw out as long as you get a lawyer to do it.
Yeah. So
don't try to do it yourself. If you
got
try to
me.
defend yourself, they'll find you guilty.
Yeah, they'll laugh
give
at
them
you
all the
and slap you
evidence.
anyway.
Yeah, I tried
So
that.
the guys, oh, you're doing over 35 miles an hour. I go, oh, I didn't call him straight out a liar. I didn't say no, I wasn't. I just said I find that hard to believe, sir. I find that hard to believe. This is a 50cc scooter. It is. I haven't done anything to it. It's registered as a moped. Blah blah blah. All this stuff. Like these are not. These physically cannot go unless I'm going downhill with a tailwind or something. Like there's no way this thing. I'm like, I'm sorry. That's hard to believe, sir. He never got me for speeding. So whatever. That was just a big joke.
John Zuck said I got pulled over for speeding. Passed a cop on the highway once. I was blasting Kickstart My Heart from Motley Crue and didn't even see them. I was like 18 and dumb.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, no, the scariest situation I'd ever been is I was a passenger in my friend's car and it was a Porsche 911 Turbo and we were doing about 150 miles an hour. A cop pulls out, but we were already like 80 football fields ahead of him. So he takes an exit and just starts flying through the side streets, down crisscrossing, going everywhere, and then turns off his lights and we basically hide in a person's like driveway. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm not driving the car. I really didn't want to run from the police, bro. Like, what do we do? He's like, don't worry, they ain't gonna find us. They never did. This is back when I was like probably 17 years old. That scared me. My heart was racing.
They always try and trap you. Do you know how fast you were going?
Well, I told you the cop that lied in court that pulled me over, the dick who like pulled me over and said that like wrong license plate, wrong car model, wrong color. Oh, the discovery was like somebody completely different. And he's like 3 months later, he's like, oh no, I just wrote it all down wrong. But I remember it was him on that day. He pulls me over. I was like, dude, I didn't even drive down the street. He claimed that I drove through a crosswalk where somebody was in it, but I didn't even drive through the crosswalk, period. I took a different street. And I even offered to prove it to him. I was like, dude, I can show you right here. I got my map with my directions, like on my TomTom here. I'll show you like where I drove. And he's like, no. And then he started getting kind of sassy with me because I was like telling him that I didn't do it. And he goes, hey, is that burning oil I smell coming from your car? How about I get you a tow truck out here to tow that somewhere where you can have it fixed? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, it didn't burn in any oil. I mean, it was a Subaru. It always burns oil. But there was no smell. There was no smell of oil. There's no smoke. Yeah. He was just saying that to try to intimidate me because he didn't like that I wasn't admitting my guilt. Because he's like, oh, admit it, you drove through that intersection. I'm like, I didn't drive through the intersection or whatever. He's like, oh, just sign here. Oh, man, your car smells like it's burning oil. You want me to go ahead and call a tow truck and get that hauled away for you? I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Yeah, it just sucks that there's so many bad cops out there that do the good ones dirty, right? It's like, I mean, yeah, their intentions are all bad to get a conviction. But I will say, just to be fair, I have had times in my life where cops have actually helped me a lot. So
totally.
It does. Yeah. It is possible. Yeah. There are some good ones out there.
I have had more good interactions. Actually, I don't think the only one that was really bad is when I got pulled over on my scoot. And even then, it was so outrageously just ridiculous. Like, why are you pulling me over, man? Yeah. And it's because he was trying to get DUIs. It was the end of the month. It was Halloween. Literally it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. It had just flipped over from the 30th to the 31st, and he was just trying to collect DUIs. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna get this little kid, like this guy on this goofy ass scoot. He's got to be drunk. I'd come from, so this is not gonna mean much to anybody, most of the folk in chat, but I was coming from Kent, like up on the hill in Kent. I'd come down
in Washington. Yep.
Yeah, I'd come down the hill into the valley. There's the main drag there in Kansas Central Ave, and it eventually turns into Auburn Way as you come into Auburn.
Yep.
I was mashing. This is a long fucking way to go on this scoot, by the way. This is a long way. I'm trying to mob to Federal Way, which is, again, doesn't mean a whole lot to any of you guys. It's a long way to go for a scoot that should only be doing 30 miles an hour. And I got to take surface streets and shit. I can't take the highways and stuff. I got a big hill to mob up and trying to go up the hills that only does like 20, 25. People get pissed off. Ridiculous. And so just to try, the whole thing was so goofy. I'm laughing with these guys and stuff. I should have done better. I think I could have gotten off on a few or reduced some of the, and I did eventually get away with some of it. But like, man, it was just the whole freaking thing. It was just ridiculous. I can't believe I'm getting pulled over, laughing at these guys. Couldn't find my scoot in their like system and stuff, and I'm like leaning over. They got me locked up, right? Like because I was driving on a suspended license. I didn't know about it. So I'm in the back, and I'm like, guy's trying to fill out the paperwork on his computer, and he can't find the model and stuff because it's some cheeseball Korean scooter. And I'm like looking over the seat, trying to, just punch in there, type in blah blah blah. It's this. You know, I'm helping the fucking guy fill out the paperwork because he couldn't figure out how to describe the scoot, as you know, the brand and stuff wasn't coming up.
Yeah,
I'm just, oh my god.
I do like that my local police department got funded for cybercrime, which I think is pretty damn cool. So they helped me find that stalker. Remember that Terminator stalker guy back in the day? They helped find him and take care of that. They found the guy that was like calling all the companies and like stealing all the products and putting them through drop shippers and shit using warrants. They found somebody who did identity theft. They found another person that was making death threats. They found a person who tried to swat me way back in the day, but failed. So they have been like really helpful to me, like the cybersecurity side of things.
That's good.
However, when I first moved here like 20 some years ago, there was this old timer police officer working here who thought that he was like Chuck Norris or whatever the hell you want to call it, where he'd like just pull people over for driving like 3 to 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. And then he'd walk up to your window and go, hey, you know why I pulled you over or whatever? And I'd be like, oh no, I'm not really sure, sir. Because you were going 5 over. And this is the safest city in Washington state, and we don't allow that here. License and registration. I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, officer, or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna kill somebody going 5 miles over the speed, like I was doing 30 and a 25. You're gonna kill somebody with that. And the dude was like so rude to everybody. And then I was like, man, why does this guy hate me so much? And we found out he hated everybody. He was just a really crotchety dude.
It bugs me when they get so like riled up and righteous. Like, one time I was coming out of my neighborhood, and we got a big hill that comes down, or you know, in or out of this big hill.
Yep.
I'll coast sometimes. I'll coast, and you can get up to like 70 miles an hour, just whoosh. And I came up real quick behind this guy. I think I was doing like 55, so technically 55 and a 35, and I come up on him real quick, but like in a completely controlled manner. Like I didn't slam on my brakes like, or anything. I saw him quarter mile, half mile off. I knew what I was doing. But I came up on him and I slowed down. I peel off the acceleration. Plenty fine. And but I knew it. I knew, oh crap.
Ooh, here, I'll be right back.
I knew, because I didn't know it was a cop when I just knew, oh, I'm gonna come up on this guy and I know I'm going really quick. But as soon as I get behind him, oh crap, it's a fucking cop car. And he pulls me over. You know why I pulled you over? Well, you know, why? I'm never going to admit to anything. Oh, you're doing 55. He was just like, I think I scared him. I think the auto, because they got radars in the front and back of these things now that's like built into the cars. Or this was like an SUV. And he's telling me, oh, we got the blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you come up behind me. I think I scared him. I think the thing he must have been just tootling along, and I come up on him real quick, and the thing must have been like beep, 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 beep. Like, and it, I think it startled him because he was fucking pissed. He was so pissed. And this is like kind of late at night, like maybe 10:30. So like there's nobody around. It's dark and stuff, but there's nobody around. It's not like, you know, it wasn't raining or anything crazy. Like other than technically the speed, I wasn't being dangerous in any way. But so I think the system must have just went like and startled him because he was so pissed. He was like my dad being angry at me. It was just so funny. I what a I don't want to say doucher, but just like he tried to. It's funny to me when they try and be bullies, when they try and get all righteous and and it's like, bro, it's not that serious, man. It's like I didn't even break anything. I didn't do anything really bad, you know. Crazy. We should fund the police and provide them with proper people for the right. I'm curious. Fund the police training, PTSD treatment, and more training. The police needs to be split out. There needs to be different. There needs to be different like methods or like groups or something. Like you know, if as an example, like when I call 911 and I say, "Oh, my mom can't breathe. My mom's choking." They always send a fire truck, right? Like always, almost always for any sort of like medical emergency, they'll send a fire truck too. Because like often enough, there's something else going on, and fire people are trained at some of the basic EMT style stuff anyway. But I think that needs to happen more with the police as well. Like, oh man, my uncle's freaking out. He's schizophrenic or autistic or whatever, and he's flipping out. You don't send the fucking military guy. You don't send the guy with the fucking guns to help with that. You send the guy who's trained to help de-escalate mental health issues like that, along with the gun guys. You know, the mental health people show up first, just like the fire department shows up first for medical shit, like that kind of thing.
Right tool for the job.
Yeah, man. And so like that's,
I'm worried about my son. Could you imagine a SWAT team coming in thinking there's like a bombing or something going on? My autistic son freaks the hell out.
And he's freaking out, nonverbal. He's not going to answer questions to the fucking scary ass guys with guns yelling at him and stuff. Yep. You're going to get shot. Like, and that's not okay. And that's I think
when he gets nervous, he tries to hug the person because he thinks they're mad at him.
Right.
And so I have to remind him, like, don't if they come and run in with guns and start screaming at you, don't run over and try to hug them to be like, no, it's okay, because they're gonna fucking shoot you. Like literally. Yeah. So I have to remind my son, if this ever happens, I have to go through drills with him. Like, put your hands in the air where they can see them and listen to orders, but don't say anything. I said, just don't answer questions. Just put your hands in the air, and if they ask you to do something, just do it. And it sucks that I have to do that. Like, it totally sucks, but you got to do shit like that in this day and age. Like, all it takes is one person calling and lying, trying to get, you know, the rocks off to somebody getting killed on the internet, you know, and your family gets harmed. It's the
defund the police thing was a bad phrase because it's not about, like, seriously though, because does LA County Police really need like $4 billion a year?
No, and they don't need like
they need a
straight
tank?
up military tanks and shit.
Do they need to be buying discoed fucking military equipment? No.
Yeah. And
it all stems from that one thing back in like 96 or whatever, where those bank robbers had armor piercing bullets and shit.
Yeah.
That's the start. And then the US military is like, oh, hey, got this great idea. We could sell all our janky, extra military stuff to these towns and stuff, these cities.
Do you remember how they took them out? Do you remember how they ultimately took out those guys that were in the body armor or whatever? They literally went to a local gun store and just grabbed some like 308 sniper rifles.
Oh, nice.
They just punched right through their armor like butter. Because their AR-15s weren't doing it, right? Like 223 didn't have enough penetrating power for their armor. So they just went and got freaking hunting rifles and just plugged them.
Go.
Yeah,
but I think definitely, rather than like, it's not about taking it all and like, oh, get rid of the police force, because you're gonna need somebody with some muscle to fight some bad guys. But it's redistribution of some of those funds to better handle. Because look, if my house gets robbed, I don't need a guy with a gun showing up to fucking write a report. Some pencil pusher can show up and dust and do whatever and write out on his little pad and whatnot. Again, send the guy with the gun with him, but I want to talk to the guy without the gun. I don't need somebody come kicking doors in. Where's the fucking rob a guy.
I get nervous
It's
because
ridiculous.
it's like they have a gun and they're literally allowed to kidnap you legally.
In my life got a
Like
ticket.
that
Yeah.
concerns me. Like it makes it hard for me to have a conversation with somebody with that power dynamic going
Yeah.
on.
On a bicycle.
Or
And I
civil
understand that
forfeiture.
they have to have that if there's like a criminal situation, but it's like, dude, if you're pulling me over for speed and you don't need to shoot me.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
don't need your officer. Like I've been pulled over before where it's like they have a guy come up to the passenger window. You're the only person in the car.
Oh
Both
man,
hands are on the
that's
steering wheel,
freaky.
and they have
You're
a
like,
cop come up on the passenger window and on the driver's side at the same time with
That's scary as
flashlights. And you're like, you can't even tell if guns are pointed at you because you're blinded by the lights, right? They're dazzling you. And
Red
you're
Bull
like,
package
my
beast.
hands are on the steering wheel, bro. Like I haven't
Yeah.
done anything. You called in. I'm not,
That's the thing.
no warrants,
Like,
nothing. You're not
oh.
looking for me. Why are you being this way?
oh, but you know they're scared for their lives. So, you know, how often is that happening? Not as often as the
No.
news and stuff would make it seem out like. Yes,
And I'm
it
not
does
wearing
happen.
body armor. They are
it's
like,
just
yeah,
all of that stuff.
it's overkill.
All that
It's just overkill. I don't like cops that are
Yeah.
overkill on everything.
Yeah.
But like I said, there are good cops, there are nice cops, there are cops that have helped me out.
Plenty.
It just drives me nuts that in my life I've had so many bad experiences. Just me, like in my little course of my life, I have had so many bad experiences. I would say it's probably about 50-50 over my whole life where I've had police that have helped me. And I've had police that totally went out of their way to cause as big of a problem as humanly possible so that they could just flex their cop.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
literally, like there was
Exactly.
no reason to do it. There was no benefit to them doing it. There was nothing to be gained other than they just wanted to dominate me and see me shake and piss down my leg. That was it. You know, and that I had a cop once pull up to me. I was just out walking. I remember I was walking around the street. This was about 5 years ago. Walking around my neighborhood. And a cop pulls up to me and like turns on his lights, slams on the brakes next to me and starts rolling down the window. And I'm already shitting my pants because I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Like my hands are in there. I'm freaking out. And the officer's just like, hey, have you seen a guy around here in sweatpants with blonde hair? I'm like, no. And he just rolls up the window and just like burns out and turns off his lights. I'm like, so I'm walking along. You scare the absolute shit out of me in the middle of the night. Roll down your window and yell at me. And it was just to ask me a question, like if I'd seen somebody. It's like, was it necessary to use the lights to freak me the fuck out? Like you could have literally just pulled up next to me, slowed down, you know, rolled the window down. And hey guy, like what's going on? Hope you're having a good night. Hey, have you seen a guy around here that matches this description? Or no, this officer was just like, have you seen this man? No. Okay, window up. Doesn't even say thank you, nothing. Just like burns off. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What is that dude's problem? Stuff like that, just it gives you a bad taste in your mouth, and then you're scared of law enforcement. And that's the biggest problem. Like people shouldn't have to fear law enforcement. You know, remember back when it was like protect to serve? They don't use that anymore, right? To protect and serve, because now they're like, oh, we don't protect and serve. We never did.
Yeah.
But I used to like that saying.
It's funny.
And wished it backed it up, because like that's what it should be like. Like people should not fear the police. They should see them as a helper, not as somebody that's like every time you encounter these people, there's a good chance you're going to go to jail, even if you're innocent.
Yeah.
Like nobody should feel that way.
It's funny the places that have what they call like Good Samaritan laws, right? Where like, oh, if you see somebody getting beaten up, like I should, you know, the regular folks should step in and help. But then at the same time, the Supreme Court says that the police have no obligation to protect you. So it's like I'm supposed in certain places, I'm supposed to step in and help somebody who's getting beat up or robbed or whatever. But it's not the police's responsibility to do that, right? Like what?
Yeah.
So
you know, one
weird.
thing I do like about my local police though is like I called them and asked them because there's some shit going on in my neighborhood that's like actually like legitimate call for concern. And so I was like, what do I do if somebody like breaks into my house? I was like, I'm not gonna call you guys. I said, listen, I am armed. Here's what I have. And they literally gave me advice on the phone. They're like, yeah, if they break into your house, like put them down. Like, just don't shoot your neighbors in the process. They're like, they're like, aim on a downward trajectory and use frangible ammo if you have it.
Right. Stuff like that.
But I thought it was cool that they were like, you know, instead of going, oh no, you have to wait for the police and shelter and jump out your back window and run away and hope they don't shoot you in the back as you're running away. I thought it was cool that they were like, they actually like, you know, stated the law. They're like, no, you can actually protect yourself if somebody breaks into your house, you know, with force. Like, you don't have to sit there and like assess if they're a threat or not, assess if they have a weapon or a knife or anything. It's like, no, if they force themselves into your house, they're immediately a threat. And, but check your local laws, different everywhere, right?
Yep.
There's some states like Texas where it's like dudes in your front yard screaming at you and saying he's going to kill you holding a knife, and you can shoot him from 100 yards away as long as he's on your property. You know, it's like stand your ground laws are crazy, right? Here in Washington, it's like they got to break into your house, right? They have to actually like invade your secure perimeter.
There is some, Yeah, there's got to be some wiggle there because, like,
Yeah.
I'm with that. Like, imminent threat in a sense. Like,
There's gotta be
if
an
somebody's
imminent
out in my front yard, and I got a small ass front yard, right? Like, if somebody's out there screaming and yelling, I'm not going to blast them, even if I have the right or the protection, the legal protection there. But as soon as they start pounding on my door or start trying to like come in through the windows,
I'll prepare, yeah,
or things like that, then yeah, but if he's out there and just hooting and hollering and whatever, fucking, I don't care, man. Or again, there's some weird wiggles there because like I'm also not going to blast him if he starts breaking into my car, which is out in the driveway, right? Like, I don't know.
No, I don't. I wouldn't.
There's
do
no
that.
imminent threat to my personal safety.
No,
Go ahead,
breaking
fucking
into house in the middle of the night,
into the
like,
car. Shit. That's
your house is locked. Your family's there. Your kids are there. Your wife is there. That is like a protected place.
Right.
Your car, as long as they're not in there. Like if my family was in the car and somebody was actively breaking into it, oh yeah, then I would look at it completely.
Yeah, again, like
right?
if I'm in right. If I'm in the car,
yeah, but I'm not gonna kill somebody over some property, right?
Yeah.
Like the only way I would ever kill somebody is if I thought that they were like an actual imminent threat to my family or myself, right? And you know, I'm not gonna, if somebody's drunk and on my porch screaming and stuff because they got the wrong house or whatever, kicking their, I'll just call the cops and have them come pick them up and just haul them off.
Yeah.
But dude, something scary that happened. I forgot about this, man. My neighbor Chris, we were in his house one day and a lady walked up to his door and knocked on the door and was trying to sell him some magazines. And it was a scam. It was a total scam.
Sure.
So he said, nah, I'm not interested or whatever. And he closed the door and we're sitting in his computer room and we hear his sliding glass door open on the back of his house. And it was the lady and her friend just opened his sliding glass door and came into the house. And we like locked eyes with them. So and they looked at us and we looked at them and then they like ran out of the door and like one of the dudes jumped the fence and the other lady was like waiting for him to open it and let her out. And we called the cops and the cops found him. Like the cops found him. They only made it like 2 blocks on foot. They were like walking around, like trying to rob people's houses. And what she was trying to do is she was trying to like distract people at the front of the house so the guy could come in and steal stuff in the back. But when he closed the door and like shut her down, she ran around the back to like tell her friend, but her friend was like already coming in the sliding glass door. So she came in the sliding glass door. It was weird. It was like a really weird situation, but I was scared shitless. Cause it's like, you're not used to somebody being in your house that's not supposed to be there. Like people that come into your house, they're invited, you know, they're there, right? Somebody in the house authorized them or you know who they are. Like strangers don't just like magically appear in the middle of your house with nobody knowing why they're there. So it was so bizarre. Even though I was in my friend's house, I wasn't even in my own house. Like we just had like the fear, the chill that went down our neck, just like seeing these 2 strangers like standing in his living room. I was like,
yeesh.
I was like, what the fuck what is going on? like, bro, what are you guys doing? But God, just crazy people, man, crazy people. But yeah, the cops end up finding him. We have a lot of solicitors. I get so sick of solicitors that don't read the sign. I have a no soliciting sign. This means this, religious canvassing. I put everything you can on it, right? It's like, listen, there's no wiggle room. And a person walks up the other day, and I tell my wife not to answer the door, but she just forgot her. She answered the door, and a guy's there, and he's like, oh, she's like, oh, no solicitors or whatever. She points at the sign. And he goes, oh, I'm not a solicitor. And he's like, oh, I notice your gutters are falling off your house. Would you be interested? She's like, oh God, she just closed the door in his face. It's like, dude, what do you mean you're not a solicitor? Solicitor means you're trying to sell something. You're trying to sell gutters and gutter repair and handyman services. Dude, that's soliciting, bro.
Because it's multiple syllables. It's that nobody fucking dude. On the one hand, like I was a little surprised, but then also like not really to find that like, what is this? Something like 50-something% of the United States can't read above a 6th grade level. Like half this country is practically illiterate.
I believe it though.
Like
I believe it.
Use sometimes I get called out for smart words, right? I got these, and I have a much more limited vocabulary than I did when I was younger. But I'm sure the chat's noticed I'll sometimes use big words or smart words, but I'm like, damn it, words have meaning. There's nuance to shit. I'm not just sad. I'm morose. I feel melancholy, right? Sad has a meaning. Like words have meaning. Words have nuance. Words have like are vibrant and colorful. Like it's not just emotions and stuff, but it paints I try to use my words so that you have the same picture in your brain that I do of an event. And it's like it drives me nuts to when people are like, what is that? I'm like, oh. It reminds me of Newspeak from 1984. right? There's no excellent, there's no amazing. It's good, plus good, double plus good, stuff like that. Because like if you can reduce the vocabulary, that reduces the nuance to things. Things are just good or bad. And then there's hardly any degree to good and bad. It's double plus good or double plus bad is really bad and really good. And what does that even mean? And like that drives me bonkers. That's going to go down a weird sort of political path that I don't want to go to right now.
Our education system just needs to be improved.
The rise of anti-intellectualism, and what's weird is like guys like Carl Sagan and stuff were calling this out even in the like 80s, that like we are approaching a point in history where we don't believe experts, we don't believe facts, we don't believe the people who we're supposed to rely on for the things that we're not good at. And that really bugs me.
No, honestly, it bugs me too. Some of the encounters that I have, and not just misuse of words is frustrating. It's really frustrating because you think especially when you think somebody means what the word actually means and they completely don't. Like then a big misunderstanding occurs and they blame you for it. You're like, that's not what you said. Daniel Frost, thank you so much for that very generous $18.87, brother. He said, I have once in my life got a ticket doing 54 kilometers per hour. Okay, we know he's not in the U.S. on a 40 kilometer per hour road on a bicycle. Oh, dude, know why, but I thought of it when Aux talked about it. Oh, were you like coasting down a hill or something? Because can you go 54 kilometers on a bike?
Dude, no. A friend of mine, her dad actually I don't think he got a ticket for it, but he did get like a stern talking to. Dude, you can keep going 60 plus miles an hour on some of these bikes. Like it's not even downhill.
Pedal power on a flat surface. Serious? Yeah, oh my God. I had no idea. Idea.
For sure. Yeah, totally possible. Even with the hill and stuff, but even just flat ground, like, yeah.
I mean, I know when I went down to California and I rode, like, Jay had this old Cannondale bike that was like super lightweight. It wasn't as light as the one he was using as a secondary bike. And he gave it to me to ride. And I think it's in one of the videos we did a long, long time ago. But I was like really surprised at how little rolling resistance there is. Like I'm used to riding like mountain bikes and e-bikes and stuff with big fat tires. And I get on this bike that has like 120 PSI, itty bitty little rubber band tires on it. Mm-hmm, and I was pretty shocked. Even a big guy like me, the speed you could get up to where you're feeling the wind resistance, like the wind resistance is making an active difference on you going because you've achieved that speed. And it's like, I've never achieved a speed like that on a mountain bike where I felt like the wind was the thing holding me back. So yeah, I could see that. I could see if you're wearing like the right gear and you had a nice slick helmet and you were on a really fancy lightweight bike with the right gearing and stuff and you were strong, putting out like 400 watts or whatever, you could probably cruise pretty good. So, Patrick said, wait, all well and good. The topics interest me considering the current events. Oh, awesome, bro. Yeah, no, I mean, some people think topics are sensitive. Some aren't. I think it's a good topic though, talking about the whole police thing. Like, I think that's actually a really good topic. Because, because people should know their rights. People should know, anything that can help them in a situation like that. Like, for instance, one of the things that makes this like a topic that I wanted to discuss, even with the iOS 18 thing, the change for keeping cops from breaking into your phones and stuff, is my buddy just got out of jail on parole after 5 years in jail yesterday. Our only communication back and forth has been through this JPaces system that's like this email service where you have to pay like 25 cents an email, like it's snail mail. A person has to read it at the correction facility and approve it both ways. So it's like you send a message, wait 4 or 5 days, get a message back. It's like it's really slow. And so he finally got out and got parole after 5 years. And he should have never been sent to jail in the first place. Like he spent 5 years of his life in jail because of bad cops and a bad judge. And a lot of people might say, oh, you're just saying that everybody says they're innocent or whatever. I'm not saying he's innocent. He did do something bad, but he didn't do something that warranted 5 years. It was his first offense. It was literally a misunderstanding. Like the whole thing was a complete misunderstanding. And his anxiety, having guns pointed at him, prevented him from moving, which led to a dog being sicked on him. Even though his hands were in view, he wasn't a threat to anybody. He was trying to comply. He was just frozen. And they suck a dog on him, and the dog was biting into his arm, ripping him down to the bone. And so he kicked the dog to get the dog off of him, and they got him for assaulting a police officer. This is his first offense. He's never had so much as a ticket. Lived in Washington his whole life. Him and his dad moved to Idaho, and in his first like 6 months in Idaho, this happens. And what happened is the cops, basically, he was driving. The cops tried to pull him over, but he had a court appointment for something that was like unrelated. And so he was in a state of anxious and panic or whatever. So he didn't know what to do. So he drove because he was like looking for a place to pull over. They pit maneuvered him when he was only going like 15 miles an hour, I think, tops. He said it was really slow. And in the report, they even said it was slow. They pit maneuver him. He puts his hands up. He's frozen because they're all pointing guns at him, screaming at him, get the fuck out of the car. We're going to shoot your ass, blah, blah, blah. He has no gun. He didn't have any gun on him or anything. His hands were in view, and they sick a fucking dog on him because they had a canine unit there, and the dude just wanted to sick his dog. Like, he loves sicking his dog. And then if a dog attacks you, you're going to try to get him off you. Like, there's no way. It doesn't matter if you're a fucking criminal, you committed crimes. If a dog is eating your arm and biting down your bone, your natural instinct is to get it off you, right? By the way, the dog wasn't harmed. The dog didn't even have to go to the vet. There was literally no damage to the dog whatsoever. But the judge is like, you assaulted a police officer, which is a minimum of 5 years here in Idaho. Boom, go to jail. Actually, he got a 15-year sentence, but parole after 5 years. So 15 years, like, for kicking a dog that was attacking him over a misunderstanding.
That's fucked up, man.
And the sad thing is they were all wearing body cams. They were all wearing body cams, and they all had car cameras. And when his lawyer requested discovery, you know, trying to get a hold of the footage, there was no footage available for any of the body cams and none of the cams in the cars that run the whole time you're driving the car. The whole time the car is on, that camera runs. And they're like, oh, sorry, we don't have any of the video. There must have been a malfunction with these like 20 cops body cams in these 3 cars that were on scene. So there's no footage to confirm his story. So it's just the cop's word against his. And so he went to jail for 5 years of his life. And he's not a threat to anybody. He's like, dude's like 400 pounds and has type 2 diabetes. Like, he's not a threat. So they put him in like a super low security facility that was like an open layout where it was basically just like a cubicle farm where everybody watches each other. No, he did a FOIA request. They said that it literally was non-existent. They said that there is no body cam footage and there is no car footage, and they're like, there's nothing to give you.
Yeah. And
So,
even if there were,
yep.
it got deleted or something. Like,
Yep.
I didn't, something got corrupt, because there's no like third party,
Yep.
Independent like facility for that. It's the police.
Oh,
Looking
James, it
after
was a
themselves.
massive red flag. And the thing was, the judge even did like same shit that the judge did to me with the officer. They said that they've known that officer their entire life, and he's a really trustworthy officer, like the main guy on the scene. They're like, I have to believe him because of his service on the force. I have to believe him over your word in the absence of evidence.
See, that's wrong too. That's wrong. Like,
Yeah, it made me really sad. Like, when I saw him go away for that, I was like, dude, seriously? So he got out yesterday, and for the first time in 5 years, he got to go take a shower without being watched. He got to be by himself unsupervised. He had
Nice.
a meal. He had a meal that was decent, and he's the happiest guy ever. It's like freaking going to Disneyland, getting out of there. But like, the fact that happened was crazy. Oh, he is suing him. No, James, he's in the process of suing him right now. He already has a lawyer. They're already doing it. But the problem is it's a really corrupt district. I don't remember the name of the city, but there's a city in Idaho, and if you go look it up, it actually is the most corrupt city in Idaho. Like, it's the most police reports for like missing footage, people being wrongfully incarcerated. This judge is very, very well known for like handing down the maximum on every single sentence and never finding anybody innocent. And he didn't even get a trial by jury or anything like that. It was like literally the judge made the call and it was off to jail. It was that fast. So, but I was like, dude, first offense? Like, seriously? First offense of kicking a dog, and you go to jail for 5 years because it was attacking you. And he had to go to the hospital. By the way, he left the scene in an ambulance to go to the hospital to get stitched up because the dog had sunken his teeth in his arm in multiple places down to the bone. So I'm like, God damn, man. It's that kind of shit that just makes me like really mad and just like lose faith.
yeah, for sure.
And when he told me, oh, and then the other thing, this was like really fucked up too, is he did have his concealed carry, like, but he didn't have his gun on him. His gun was locked in his glove compartment with no ammunition in it. When they went to the wrecking yard to pick up the car, because the car was obviously like hauled to the impound or whatever. When they went to pick up the car in the impound, the gun was laying in the passenger seat. And they're like, and his dad was like, what the hell? And the officers claimed that that's where it was when they impounded the car, but it was locked in the glove compartment.
Come on.
Yeah. So, oh my God, because he wanted to make it look like he had a gun next to him. Like, oh, he could have reached and grabbed for that and shot us all. So it was like a really big threat. But no, because he had it literally locked, and the ammo was somewhere completely different. Because I guess there's a law in Idaho, you have to have like the ammo separate from the gun or something like that. Like, the gun has to be locked and the ammo has to be like in a different location, so you can't easily access both. And so I was like, damn, dude. But yeah, he is suing him. Just so you know, he is suing him, and he's also suing the jail system because they have a for-profit jail system there where, like, you know, the state gets money for the people they incarcerate, so they try to incarcerate as many people as possible. So he was in like this. He said his jail was literally like an office building that they retrofitted as a jail with like super minimum security, where the prisoners basically just keep an eye on each other. Like there's only like 2 or 3 officers in the whole place that just like sit around and like, you know, they can go and watch TV and shit. And it's like super lax. They got like little tablets that they can watch like Netflix movies they rent on, and they can buy commissary and stuff. So it was like, he was thankful that it wasn't like, you know, a hard security facility or anything like that. But he said he was treated poorly. He said they denied him his insulin so many times that he got really sick and went into renal failure a couple of times and shit. It was like, oh my God, dude. So he's suing the prison system. He's suing the police department. Yeah, he's going after all of them. And apparently his lawyer says he has a really, really good chance of getting money. But the cool thing is he was granted parole. Like they did his first time going to parole review. They immediately granted his parole and thought that he was horribly mistreated. So hopefully that helps his case and he wins. But I was like, man, I messaged him and congratulated him. I'm like, dude, this is the first time we've been able to communicate. Like yesterday was the first time we were able to go back and forth with an actual real-time communication without a 4-day delay between each message reaching the other person. So John's like, that's what I didn't get either. I was like, really? They just convert regular old buildings into jail in Idaho? Like it doesn't even have to be like a secure facility built as a jail? And the answer is yeah. They just fucking buy up space. He said it was like a warehouse. He said it was like a warehouse where like you look up the ceiling, there's like rafters and shit like that. Like if you wanted to climb up over in the walls to like get across the partitions. So
crazy.
Did he appeal the conviction? He did. It was denied.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, apparently it's a really bad place. He said he's never going back. Luckily the parole board granted him to come back to Washington. So he didn't have to do his parole in Idaho, because wherever they tell you to do your parole, that's the only place you can go. So they let him come back to Idaho. And the really sad thing, like the thing that really broke my heart, is his dad passed away like 3 or 4 months ago. And his dad spent the last 4 years trying to get him released from jail and, you know, paying for attorneys and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, like trying to get his son out of jail. And then he had a really bad bout of, it wasn't cancer. It was some kind of disease that was impacting his lungs, but it wasn't cancer. He ended up getting like double pneumonia. They had to put him on a breathing machine. And then they said he might not make it after going through like 2 surgeries on his lungs. And they're like, you better come say your last rites now. And they would not grant him furlough even for 1 day when he's 400 pounds and a type 2 diabetic and has to be in a wheelchair. And they would not grant him 1 day to go see his dad in the hospital as he was dying. And they didn't let him go to the funeral either. Like, how fucking cruel is that? Like, that's cruel and unusual punishment, especially when he's not in high security and he's never had another offense and he's not a flight risk. Like, where's he gonna go? He's in a fucking 400-pound wheelchair and needs like fucking constant supply of insulin. Like, dude ain't going nowhere, bro. So that makes me sad when I hear stuff like that. But it's like the Copland movie. I haven't seen that. Let's see. We talked about the tariffs. We talked about the iOS 18. Let's see here. Fighting the police. Palworld getting sued by Nintendo. The robots and AI just added on there because the AI thing just keeps on coming onto the subject. Because I keep seeing mass layoffs across the board. I keep seeing people randomly, willy-nilly implementing AI. I've noticed that Amazon started implementing AI, where Amazon now answers questions sometimes and then doesn't answer questions other times.
Yep. And they're doing AI summaries of movies on Amazon Prime, or they will. I don't know if it's rolled out yet, but I've heard that's either coming or not, or soon, if not already.
It's getting ridiculous, dude. It's absolutely getting ridiculous. Like you can, like here's an example. If you have, because we tried it ourselves, Adam and I both did this. It's weird. If you ask Alexa, to spell Joe Biden, it'll spell it. No, check this out. It's hilarious. It'll spell it. But if you then ask who is better, Joe Biden or Trump, it says, I can't answer that because it's a political question. I can't answer political questions. However, then you ask it to spell Joe Biden again, and it says it can't answer any questions about a political candidate, even though Joe Biden isn't a political candidate. So now Alexa, where it used to just answer each question individually, it's now keeping a context like AI. So they're like slowly doing something in the cloud, implementing some kind of AI, but it's not fully there yet. But the fact that you actually get a different response based on the previous question you asked, even when it's unrelated, was very bizarre. Because that means that like there's people out there like asking their thing. Everybody's getting a different answer for this shit. And that's one thing that's like really concerning about AI in the seed is like 50 people could ask the same question. 40 of them could get the right answer and 10 of them could get the wrong answer. All asking the same exact question just because of the random seed. That's
Crazy.
a big problem with AI, honestly. People are accusing, what is it, BO6 of being made by AI? What is BO6?
Black Ops 6.
Oh,
Why?
the video
Why?
game.
How's that?
I don't
How?
think we're quite there yet.
Do you understand the development cycle that it takes? Like, it's not just 2 years. Like, I know it's usually what they'll go back and forth, right? There's 2 main studios that do Call of Duty games, and they'll kind of go back and forth.
Yep.
But it's not just it's not just a couple years of they like overlap. They don't just they used to start development as soon as one game like released, or as soon as they went gold, and to start up the next one like right away. They overlap now. Like, it takes like 4 to 6 years to make these games. There's no way. I mean, maybe some sort of help with and this is where this is why words are important. Because you could say that IntelliSense is some sort of AI, is a certain level of AI, right?
AI is super generic term. Super generic.
IntelliSense in Visual Studio, right, is sort of a sort of guessing of what you're trying to accomplish. But like I'm curious. I love these sort of conspiracy stuff like this. I'm curious what are they pointing at that shows that Black Ops 6 it was made by AI, like completely, or like helped with the code. Like, I'm curious. Point me a link. I want a link, or actually you can't do it, I guess, because you're not mod or whatever. But point me, what should I look up to find this? Because I'm very curious now to see what they're pointing at. And oh damn, man, that's gonna get me down on another weird old man rant. We got 10 minutes.
I like your old man rant. By the way, Dav264 said, please stop saying Alexa, add wolf dildo to shopping cart.
That's because you
Alexa, add gallon of lube to shopping cart.
You think Jerry's got an Echo Dot in his room? I don't think so. You guys are.
I'm smarter than
that. He's smarter than that. Why do you think we wear headphones so you guys can't do stupid shit like that?
Bro, I only let that shit spy on me in every other room of my house, not here. Wait, somebody said there's a pay to win to get better audio in Black Ops. That can't be a thing. Is that really?
Yes, but apparently it's not that good. It's like an extra $20 for some sort of enhanced audio that's supposed to like make you like hear the footsteps better or something like that.
Oh, that's
but I've seen some reviews, and it's total trash. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. COD takes 6 years. Control A, Control V, add some new skins and microtransactions at best. No, man, no. Look, so I've been it's funny that this comes up, that COD comes up, because I've been playing through some of the older ones recently. I just played through. I beat, and I'm a little shocked at how fast I beat the old school Modern Warfare 2, which to me I think was probably one of the best ones around.
I love Modern Warfare 2. The campaign's awesome.
Oh, dude, it's so good. And then I'm playing through Black Ops right now, and then I'm going to jump to Black Ops 2, and if I can find it, Black Ops 3. The newer ones, I don't know. If I ever find like a good sale, I'll play some of the newer ones. But you can totally tell that they were done up by different development teams. Like, there's like some cool stuff from Modern Warfare 2 that I thought was going to be in Black Ops, and it's not. Like, Modern Warfare 2 was totally built around the concept of ADS. Like, if you try and shoot without aiming down the sight, you're trash. You can't hardly hit anything. It's all about like run, stop, or slow down to ADS, and then
that's
keep
how it
going.
should be. That's how it should be, in my opinion.
It's not totally like that in Black Ops. I noticed a significant change in the gunplay in Black Ops. Because I just come from playing Modern Warfare 2, I jumped right into Black Ops, and the gunplay is completely different. It feels different, and the whole thing, the mechanics, the way the like crouching and stuff. It did take me a few times to really get the hang of like how the play style is, and that's what I'm trying to get at, is like they take they're completely different design philosophies. Like, the game looks and plays very similarly, but like DICE and Sledgehammer, that's right, yeah and because I think DICE, whatever, one team handles like the Modern Warfare stuff, and then the other side handles the Black Ops or something like that. They go back and forth. But man, these games do take a long time. They're not written completely from scratch every time. Obviously, they have an engine that they use, to help, with the generic or the general like control schemes and things like that. That way, because they want them to feel similar across the whole line. But man, it does take. It's not just copy and paste.
After 5 years, you got to pay $20 again. So you're not even buying it
That's
out
dumb.
flat out. You're licensing it.
It's just dumb. Don't bother. Don't buy that shit. Fucking people. But they're gonna.
I really hate this whole pay to win bullshit.
That's the thing. It's not even just pay to win. It's not just pay to win. Like I'm okay with microtransactions. We've talked about this. I'm okay with microtransactions when it comes to like skins and things like that. And
cosmetic, yes. Cosmetic, yes, 100%.
But if the spatial audio thing actually gave a benefit, like in multiplayer, that's not okay. That is not okay.
Like I love Gran Turismo 7, right? I love it. Great game. I play it all the time in VR. It's an amazing game. But what I really hate is that you go in there and some of the cars in the game are like 30, 40, 50 million dollars. And the amount of time that you have to play and grind to get like 30 to 50 million dollars, or you can just pay $60 and just buy the credits to get the car. Yeah. And some of the races in the game like require it, right? It's like, oh, you need this car to finish this race to get like 100% completion. So it's like, do I just do a race 500 times to get the money in a row? Like each race taking like 10 minutes so I can buy this one car to complete this thing? Or do I just spend the $60 and just go, oh, okay, I got it now. I think one of the cars in the game is like $100. Like it costs more than the game. Like one car in the game costs more than the game. It's like 90 or $100. I was like, God damn, dude. Like, I don't like that. And Microsoft did the same thing with Forza, where it's like the first game you could buy a car for like $1 or $2. Like every car was like $1 or $2 if you wanted to buy it outright instead of like earning the money to buy it in game. But now it's like they raised their prices like dramatically and the new Forza. Like it costs so much more, like like real money to buy a car, because they probably realized people were willing to pay it, like looking at games like Gran Turismo and stuff like that. But and I'm not gonna say like it really gives you an unfair advantage, because like when you race, you pick a spec series and like all the cars perform within a certain window depending on the race series. But still, it sucks when you join a race and it's like, oh, everybody's got these fucking $20 million Ferraris, and you're like, you got a Honda Civic that's souped up to compete with them, right? Yeah. So I don't really like that aspect. I don't like games where and the other thing is, like you said, cosmetic changes, and I do agree with that. Yeah. As long as it's not a cosmetic change that gives them an advantage. Because like for instance,
that stuff happens
in Modern Warfare. It's like, oh, you can buy Geely camouflage for the jungle map, and now you're invisible when you're crouched down in the bush. It's like, come on, that's not a cosmetic change. Yeah, that's literally changing your visibility.
I do think sometimes that's been like inadvertent. Like they've put out new skins and like you wear this one skin and like you blend in with the shadow in like the corner of this room and you just disappear, kind of stuff. Dude, and I feel like they did that by accident.
Have you seen the modern cheating shit they're using now, where you put like a DMA card in a PCI slot and like sniff the memory across the bus and shit? Undetectable.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Apparently Rust players are like all over that shit. Like 1 in like 3 Rust players uses this shit now, and it's like completely undetectable.
It's so crazy.
So you set up like a second computer, and then you put this DMA. It's like, I think it's called a direct memory access card, a DMA card. It costs like $100. They're not super expensive. You slap it into the system you're playing the game on, and then you run a USB cable out of the back of it to the other computer. And it's basically sniffing the memory, like the actual like memory in the computer, like watching memory addresses from the app that you're running passively on the bus, and then sending that information to a second computer. And then that second computer sends back the shit that you need to like overlay over the game so you can see where shit is and like where to shoot it and everything like that. You can even have the other computer USB back in as an HID device and control the keyboard and mouse. So you're actually playing, and if it sees somebody, it'll just add inputs to your natural mouse movements to put you right over the head and shoot.
Yeah.
Like, but it's completely undetectable. It can't be picked up by any of the anti-cheat systems that they have right now, because the second computer is completely isolated.
Crazy.
I was like, dude, and you can't even detect like the DMA card itself is apparently undetectable. I don't know how that works exactly, but it doesn't like show up as a device. Like it doesn't know it's there. It's like literally a hardware card that's just sniffing information, raw information going across the bus and processing it. So it's like driverless. I'm like, who the fuck came up with this? But it's wild. So next time you're playing Rust and you're wondering why like the person always knows where you're at and can always shoot you from like a mile away, and they're not getting banned no matter how many times you report them, it's because they spent like $100 and have a laptop connected to their thing with like this DMA card. Dude, just wild shit. Let's see here. Were there any? Did we miss any of the super chats? I kind of feel like we did. Let me double check here. Okay, so we talked about the Surface. Need Windows System to log into work. We did that one. Hey guys, did the AMD. What do you think of the Microsoft Surface Pro Go? Never used it. Let's see here. Car Wash Channel, by the way, thank you for all dude, he's been DMing me a bunch over on Blue Sky. By the way, I'm on Blue Sky. Everybody give us a follow over on Blue Sky. Yeah, we'll update the description.
I need to set up my stuff. I need to put my I gotta find where my fucking profile picture is so that I can put it in. I haven't had to update any of this. Well, I haven't chosen to
I know
update
it's been a minute, huh?
Freaking 5 years or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, if you guys want to follow me, I just put my link in chat there.
I even kind of got called out on Twitter for not streaming PC builds a little bit.
Oh wait, Corey Man said they can detect the DMA card. It has device drivers, but the problem is the drivers cost a lot of money. Oh, so it's using a custom driver, and that's why they can't detect it, because you're basically paying for a custom driver, so there's no duplication. Like they can't just blanket everybody and say, oh, everybody's got the same driver. You're using a custom driver. Is that how it works?
Okay,
oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I'm actually, I guess I'm surprised it needs a driver. You would think it could just use the hardware on board to sniff the bus, since it's just sending the information to another computer and not the computer you're on. But I guess that makes sense. Yeah, anti-cheat does nothing. Ironically, a popular video about anti-cheat doing nothing got taken down or suppressed. Can't even find the video. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see here. Oh wow, we only got 2 minutes left. Shit, time flew today. I'm actually kind of glad. I'm not going to be able to stay late today either. I know Ox leaves on time, and I usually stay for a while. But
that's right.
My back is super fucked up right now. Like I literally, if you guys are wondering why I went to the bathroom earlier, it's because I almost threw up. So when my back pain gets to the point where I almost got to throw up, I'm like, oh shit. So I'm gonna go chill after this because I'm not feeling so hot. I do want to thank some channel friends though from earlier. I really miss these. Blue Varo, thank you so much for the membership, dude. Really appreciate it. He said, come on, let's go. Get on the topics. We did. We actually did for once. We actually did the topics earlier. Got through all of them, talked about a bunch of stuff. Matthew Riley, thank you for the 20-month membership. I really appreciate it. And also Hamed Khan and Jimmy Needles, thank you for the subscription. You guys are absolutely awesome. And everybody that super chatted today, we really love you and appreciate you so much. Let's see. James says, please check the link. I don't have a link because they get filtered out. But you can put them in off topic on Discord though, and I'll check them out. Let's see. Dude, this is so fucked up though. Like you have to pay every 5 years. Somebody said it was because it's a Dolby Atmos license or something like that, but it's like I have a Dolby Atmos license app that I bought to license Dolby. And it was a one-time fee. It shouldn't be every 5 years. That's a little weird. Before we go, I want to let people know my buddy Adam bought a PlayStation Pro, the CD-ROM drive that connects to it, and like a 4 terabyte SSD or whatever. He dropped it all off for me to unbox. So on the next live stream, probably on Monday on Twitch, I'm going to be unboxing all this shit and putting it together. It's not for me though. I'm just
sure. You say that.
I'm trying. I know as much as he just forgets and just leaves the shit there. Who knows? Here's hoping. But I'm going to try the PSVR 2 on the Pro playing GT7. I'm going to try it on the old one GT7 and notice if there's any visual differences whatsoever.
I would probably pick up a PSVR used or something. I want to check that out. Dude, I think I've heard good things.
So good. Oh, thank you, Joe Taji.
What? He's a member 18 months.
So PSVR 2, and you want to get the PC adapter. So not just for, because honestly, the VR library isn't that good on PS5. Like Gran Turismo, and there's a couple other little games, but if you want to really play the good games like Half-Life Alyx and shit like that, you want to play on PC. But I'll tell you what, I played through Half-Life Alyx from start to finish on the PSVR 2, and it was beautiful. Like it was the best looking headset by far I've used because the OLEDs in it. Yeah. It's the most comfortable because it weighs nothing. It literally, when you pick it up, you're gonna think it's like cardboard garbage. Like you're gonna be like, oh, don't breathe on it, it's gonna break. But no, it's actually pretty durable. But it weighs nothing, so it can sit on your head for hours, whipping your head around and stuff, and you don't get any of the fatigue you do even with like a Quest. It weighs like half as much as a Quest. Probably less, probably like a third as much as a Quest. The controllers aren't the greatest in the world, but they get the job done and they do all right. But just the way it reproduces light is insane. Like if you watch movies or you like in Gran Turismo, one of my favorite things in Gran Turismo that I don't get with it, and I have tons of different VR headsets. I've tried a bunch of them. the one thing this does that none of my other VR headsets do is Gran Turismo has this lighting at night that it does, like where cars are behind you with like their headlights on and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And the way the light reflects like off the rear view mirror and the side mirrors of the car and off of the paint on the car into your eyes.
Yeah.
Your brain legitimately reads that as real. Like racing at night, it feels like your brain thinks it's looking at somebody like shining a flashlight into your rear view mirror, shining like a real flashlight. And none of my other VR headsets do that. They all look like a video representation of light. I know it's weird because all video is light, right? But it looks like a video representation of like recorded light, like a recording of somebody shining a flashlight or something. In this headset, because it blacks out all the light and OLEDs by their nature are like perfect contrast to black. It literally looks like, it doesn't look like a light recorded in a video. It looks like somebody's legitimately shining a real flashlight at you in real life or a real car headlight at you. And so it gives you a certain feeling. Like if you're racing at night and you go up over like a crest or something on a track, your stomach gets light. Like you get butterflies. Like it's so convincing. It tricks your fucking brain into thinking you're actually changing elevation and stuff. And you start getting that, like your stomach will turn and stuff, like trying to adjust to it. It's very cool. Also really, really great. Not trying to spam my previous message. James, I saw he says Elon Musk social media website. I have sent you a website via messages. All right, I will check. I will check it out later. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I said I would check it out later. Let's see here. Yeah, no, Elon Musk. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but Elon Musk does scare me. Like, legitimately scares me at this point. Like, he's our vice president. Let's just be honest. he's literally our vice president, not JD Vance. He's our vice president, but I mean, he paid for it, so he should get it, right? Oh, he sent me. Oh, that's what he sent me a link to. I just like it's the Black Ops 6 built in. What did I say? Black Ops 6? Is that what I just said? Black Ops 6? Hey, anybody want to play some Black Ops 6? Hope it's Barnacules.
That's a whole different game.
She might divorce me. No. Looks like has built-in support for better audio. Okay, here's the link. I'll give it to all you guys here in chat so you guys can go look at it because I think that's why James sent it to me. So, but on that note, it is 2:04, so I guess we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna go take some medicine and lay down though because my back is. I made it though. I made it the 3 hours.
We did it. And we hit all our topics. We did a good job.
We did good. I'm proud. Are you proud? I'm proud.
I'm proud.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Please give us a follow if you wouldn't mind and hit that like button on your way out the door. We appreciate you all. Thank you for being a part of your audience, and we'll see you next week together. And you'll see me on Twitch next week because I really got to start ramping up the Twitch streams.
Yeah.
But we'll unbox all that PlayStation stuff and take a look at it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool how they did like a modular design where you can actually like put the CD-ROM and drive and shit just like snaps onto the side of it. So it's kind of neat. Like Sony actually did something cool. Too much money for me though.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take it easy.